Alrighty, welcome everybody back to the Hot and Cold podcast. I'm your host, as always, David Miller, joined by my wonderful co-host, Andrew Watkins. Andrew, how are you doing today?
Pretty tired considering it's the earliest we've ever recorded a podcast, but I'm very excited for this episode.
Yeah, it's 11:45 in the morning. This is, granted, for normal people, this is like a normal time to be awake. But for me personally, like I was talking about before we started recording, this is way too early for me. It's a Sunday. I'm not used to being up before like noon, 1 o'clock. I've been up since like 9:30. It's wild, but we have good reason that we'll get into in a moment. But first, Andrew, my question for you today: what is DeMar DeRozan's career high in points? Do you know?
It's this season, right?
Mm-hmm. He did get it this season.
Is it 55?
Was it 55? I thought it was 50.
Yeah, I think it is 50.
Hold on.
You got it.
Yeah, it was a couple nights ago, but like.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Oh, what the hell?
What is it?
Apparently at 50. Okay, listen. Twitter lied to me. Because it was like Bleacher Report or the Bulls themselves tweeted out that DeMar's career high was 50. But apparently it's 52. And he got that back with the Raptors.
Yeah.
Well, now I just look silly. This is... I've been lied to by social media. This is rather unfortunate. Okay, how about this? Who's leading the NBA in points right now?
Total points?
Yes.
It's Jason Tatum, right?
Is it? See, you've got me question myself because you know more than
I think it is. It's either him or LeBron, probably.
It's not LeBron. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, he hasn't played that many games.
Yeah, which I want to argue about that. No, it's still DeMar. Okay. DeMar is still leading the league in points. That's what I thought. Okay. But tell me if I'm crazy, right? Because I came to this realization the other day. Why do they take points per game over total points scored for the scoring title? Why is that a thing? Like, I'm not goofy for thinking that's ridiculous, right?
No, it's just, I think it used to be like all these players would play every game, so it didn't really matter. So, like, the person that would be averaging the most would have the most points.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like basically every single star doesn't play half the games of the season. So the total points is just like basically LeBron is averaging the most points. He's missed like 2 months of the season.
Yeah.
And the games that he has been there, he's had like 30 points.
Yeah. See, LeBron's like 11th in total points or something like that because he's played pretty much 20 games fewer than like DeMar and Trae Young and Jason Tatum, the guys who are up top. Which is it's ridiculous to me. He's like, when I checked the other night, he was 362 points behind DeMar DeRozan, who was in first place. But because DeMar's averaging 3 fewer points, he's not going to be the scoring champ, which I think is absolutely asinine, if I'm being honest. Like,
oh my God.
I went in and looked it up, by the way, just so nobody can call me like a LeBron hater or whatever, or say Michael Jordan probably did the same thing. Jordan has the most scoring titles of all time with 10. And every single time, he led the league in total points and points per game. So what that tells you is LeBron, if he wins the scoring title this year, which hopefully he doesn't, if he does, it's a fraudulent win. And that's the facts. Anyways, speaking of the NBA, did you watch the Bulls game the other night or see anything about the Bulls game against the Clippers? So they were down going into the fourth quarter, or like in the fourth quarter. And they came back on a whim. Like, they were not playing good basketball at all. And then they came back at the very end, and they had a chance to win the game. And DeMar missed a free throw and sent them to overtime. Then they came out in overtime and killed it, and DeMar had like 50. But that game was big because it was Patrick Williams, like, his first big game back. Like it was felt like a monumental game for him because they were playing him all across the court. He was playing a lot of center. He was hitting corner threes. He was dunking on people. I mean, he was absolutely killing it. And the way he was playing defense kind of gave me hope that maybe sort of kind of somewhat he could hinder a guy like Joel Embiid, not stop, but perhaps hinder. But I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that because I like Patrick Williams. He's great. He's playing fantastic. But
Yeah.
the Bulls are absolutely screwed in the playoffs, regardless. Oh, and then before we get into the main topic of this episode, UNC beat Duke last night. We sent Coach K home crying. That man, I hate him. I'm so glad he's done. But that game was ugly.
It was very ugly.
It was an ugly game of basketball. Carolina played terrible up until like the final 5 minutes. But they played just good enough defense to where Duke was like unable to really get past them or extend the lead beyond them. Trying to think of specific things. Oh, Armando Bacot had a LeBron moment last night where he slightly tweaked his ankle, something that you would do and like kind of stand up, shake it off, and walk away. And they had to like carry him off the court and go in and tape him up, and he had to come back out, and then he looked like nothing happened. Like it just feels like such a LeBron thing to do, where you get the most minor injury and make a huge deal out of it. Caleb Love had like 28 points, 29 points or something like that. Hit the dagger three, one of the clutchest threes I've ever seen. And the Tar Heels had a couple of those where they were just hitting it.
Manic delivered.
Mm-hmm. It took him a while.
Yeah.
It took him a while to get going. The first half he sucked, and then that second half he came out and really took over. And then, I can't remember the guy's name. Number 15 on Duke, one of their bigs. Williams, I think.
Yeah.
That dude's a bitch. That dude is straight up bitch made. I have never seen a harder flop in my entire life than when Armando Bacot had him posted up and kind of like threw his elbow a little bit, but no more than anyone else would. And the dude flew back like he just got hit with a fucking, like when you're watching old cartoons, they have those big boxes with the fists in them, like the Jack in the Box. It looked like someone hit him with one of those. And it was like the lightest elbow possible. And I mean, I know it's basketball and people do that now, but I hate it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think Duke folded so bad.
Oh, they folded hard.
I watched like the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And like from the 15-minute mark to the 5-minute mark, they could not do anything. They literally, like they gave the ball to Paulo Banchero, or however you pronounce his last name.
I think that's right.
And they just like let him drive to the basket, and then he like would throw up a layup. They like scored like once every 4 possessions.
Yeah.
Really crucial span.
Well, props to Hubert Davis, making halftime adjustments, because that first half, Carolina could not stop anything in the paint. If Duke went in the paint, it was an automatic bucket. I think they were like 13-22 or something inside the paint, and then, a bunch of shots around it. Like it was bad. They were not doing anything, and it wasn't like they were just making everything or making contested layups. They were getting no like defense whatsoever played in the paint. It was ridiculous. And early on, something else that I didn't like, Duke's center, one of their starting bigs, had 2 fouls within the first 5 minutes, so they took him out. And when that happened, you'd think, feed the post, right? They take out their starting center, feed the post. And they absolutely refused to get the ball to Bacot down low, and it was ridiculous. I don't know why that happened. But Caleb Love and RJ Davis and Brady Manick and Armando Bacot all came up clutch. Bacot ended with 21 rebounds or something before he got tossed.
Yeah.
That dude's an animal on the boards.
Something crazy like that. Duke could not get a rebound either, and that was all because of him.
Yeah. Yeah, Bacot is a difference maker down low when it comes to crashing the boards. But I keep saying that the only thing he can't do is make a fucking free throw. He is so bad at making free throws. It is ridiculous. And to me, that's just laziness. I feel like a free throw, granted, I don't play basketball, but I feel like a free throw is the easiest thing to adjust. It's muscle memory. You just have to sit there and take shots, and you won't even have to think about it. I don't know. That's just me. But it always feels good to beat Duke, especially considering it's the only time they've ever played in the tournament against Carolina. And now Carolina gets to go play Kansas and hopefully not get beat by 20, like Villanova did.
Something crazy like that.
Yeah. But anyways, the main point of today's episode, me and Andrew sat down last week after recording and decided that we were going to do something different. And that is considering, we're supposed to be more than just sports on here. We're going to go through our top 5 favorite and least favorite of a bunch of different categories. And we have superheroes, rappers, musicians like outside of rap, movies, athletes, Star Wars characters, video games, and musicals because we're both theater kids and need to remind everyone of that constantly.
Yes.
So, Andrew, what do you want to start with? I'll let you pick.
You want to start? Let's start with athletes.
Okay. All right, so how do you want to do this? Do you just want to, each of us do our top 5 and then the other person goes, or back and forth, or how do you want to do it?
Let's do top 5 favorite, one. Like, we both do our top 5 favorite, and then we both do our top 5 least favorite.
Okay. So you want to go first then?
No, we say them at the same time.
At the same time?
Same time.
Simultaneously.
Okay. No, I'll go first. Okay. At number 5, I have Deebo Samuel.
W.
Love the way he plays. Are we going to explain why?
Yeah. Please elaborate.
I love the way he plays, and I have a franchise on Madden where I'm a quarterback for the 49ers, and he's the only person I pass to.
W.
Giannis.
Okay.
The most wholesome person in the NBA. If you hate Giannis, then I don't trust you. Genuinely.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have Jaylen Brown. Then a soccer player for Chelsea named Christian Pulisic. He is nicknamed Captain America because he's from the U.S. and he plays for the USA team, and he's the best player on the team. And he's like another animal when he plays for the U.S. team.
Nice.
Speaking of which, the World Cup's coming up.
Yeah, and U.S. is playing England, right?
Yeah.
We're throwing it back to 1783.
Yeah, so I'm really relying on him for that.
I mean, if his nickname's Captain America, he's got to be reliable. I love that.
Yeah. And then Jason Tatum.
Okay. Are you gonna explain why?
No, I don't. Do I need to?
Yeah.
First of all, great dad.
I saw a video of his son today. Jason Tatum dunked on somebody, and his son was sitting on the side of the court doing this.
No, I love him. He's just a good dad, and he's like so selfless. Like, people said that he would leave the Celtics because they're not going to be good when he's there. He would not do that. It's like looks like he's the type of guy that would stick to something like that. He's like a Damian Lillard for that type of thing, and I appreciate his future loyalty to the Celtics.
You don't want him to be Damian Lillard because then you're never going to accomplish anything.
Well, yeah, but people were saying that the Celtics would be bad, and it would.
Yeah, no, you already jinxed it.
I know, I already did.
Yeah, the Celtics are never going to be good, but Jason Tatum will spend his whole career there.
Thank God. Thank God.
All right, so my top 5. First of all, I'm extra, so I did honorable mentions for each one. So my 2 honorable mentions for this are Mitch Trubisky and Jimmy Butler, for obvious reasons. Bears and Bulls fan. Mitch Trubisky is Mitch Trubisky. He's Mitch kissing titties. We all love him. He's that guy. And Jimmy Butler was just when I first started watching basketball, he was the only half-decent player on the Bulls. And God, I'll never forget when we traded Jimmy and got Laurie, Chris Dunn, and Zach LaVine back. And I was so pissed. And I specifically remember putting something on my Snapchat story and being like, what the fuck is a Laurie Markkinen? Or no, I didn't call him Markkinen. I called him McCackinen or something. I was so pissed, but I loved Jimmy Butler. But getting into my actual top 5. At number 5, I have Brian Urlacher, who was my first favorite player. He's pretty much the reason why I like football other than my dad. And he's the reason why I think linebackers are the coolest position in the sport. Number 4, we have Walter Payton. arguably the greatest Chicago Bear of all time, arguably the greatest running back of all time, has the dopest nickname. They call him Sweetness. Dude's a legend. Watching him run the football is it's literally a work of art. I love it. It's beautiful. At number 3, we have Michael Jordan. He's Michael Jordan. Obviously, I'm a Bulls fan. I'm a Tar Heels fan. How would I not love Michael Jordan? At number 2, we have Dick Butkus, who is, in my opinion, the greatest Chicago Bear of all time. I think that I don't know. He's just great. If you go back and watch him play, he was dirty. He was mean. He lit guys up. Deacon Jones. Do you know who that is? Have you heard that name? He was a defensive end for the Rams back in the 70s, and he's like a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest pass rushers ever. He once wrote a poem about Dick Butkus. Fun fact. He said, "Roses are red, violets are blue. If you have any sense, you'll keep Butkus away from you." And I think that pretty much sums up what type of player he was. And at number 1 is Kyle Long, obviously. Dude is a stud. He was like the only redeeming part of the Bears from like 2013 to 2016. One-time All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler. He's an absolute goofball off the field as well. I just absolutely love Kyle Long. And fun fact, little spoiler sneak preview for you guys. One of the guys I just named, whether it's Jimmy Butler, Mitch Trubisky, Brian Urlacher, Michael Jordan, Dick Butkus, or Kyle Long, obviously not Walter Payton because he's dead, but one of those guys will be on the podcast within the next couple weeks. I'm not going to say who, but I did get one of them to reach out to me on Twitter, and they're interested in being on it. So that's going to be a thing. Andrew, you want to go? Yeah. Go ahead and give us your 5 least favorite.
The first 2 are soccer players, and the reason I hate them is because they're on Man City, and Man City's like the moneybags, corrupt oil company of the Premier League.
Okay.
And Chelsea, my favorite team, has like a sort of rivalry against them.
Okay.
The first one, I think he's Ukrainian. His name's Alexander Zinchenko.
Sounds like Ukrainian or Russian. Hopefully Russian, because we stand with Ukraine.
Yeah.
If he's actually Ukrainian, you have to change your list. We can't hate Ukrainians, unfortunately.
Well then, Mohamed Salah is in that spot.
Okay.
And then 4 is Kevin De Bruyne. Is another player.
Okay.
Then at 3, these next 2 spots are where the list gets kind of interesting.
Okay.
Number 3 is Devin Booker.
What?
Yeah. I did a lot of. I don't. Well, first of all, the fact that he's one of my least favorites does not mean that I don't like him. It means that I don't like him as much as I like other people. I had a very tough time coming up with 5 athletes.
You don't have 5 athletes that you openly dislike.
Yeah, I don't.
What the fuck kind of sports fan are you?
I'm the most neutral, cool, chill, cold.
I see what you did there.
Fan.
How
Exactly.
on brand? Okay, I'll allow it.
Well, the reason I don't like him is because there's always that lingering comparison between Devin Booker and Jason Tatum, and I don't think there's any argument. I think Jason Tatum is above him by a lot.
Yeah, just like Zach LaVine's better than Devin Booker. Both of those are objective facts.
Yeah.
Yep. No disputing whatsoever. None.
And then at number 2, and I don't know how you're going to react to this, is Jaylen Ramsey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Jaylen Ramsey's kind of an asshole.
No, and the reason that I say that is because of his talk before the Super Bowl and how he didn't get overly embarrassed in the Super Bowl, but he did get kind of roasted.
Well,
basically the entire game.
I wouldn't say the entire game. There was that one play where was it T. Higgins or was it Jamar Chase that burnt him at But I was gonna say that doesn't really count because he like ripped his face mask, so it's hard to really blame Ramsey for that one. You would have to be like superhuman to recover from that.
He still had a bad game though after all that.
He didn't have a great game. You're right.
So I was just like watching that game and I was like smiling to myself because he was getting burnt after trying to talk all this crap about a rookie wide receiver.
Hmm. Okay, well, if you feel that way about Ramsey, how do you feel about Eli Apple, who did the same thing and legitimately got torched?
Well, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, dude, Eli Apple was running his mouth like a madman before the Super Bowl. Like,
Yeah.
he tweeted at, I think it was Tyreek Hill, and was like, we're heading to the Super Bowl, but maybe if you want, I can get you tickets or something like that, some smart ass shit like that. And then the game winning touchdown was literally a contested catch on Eli Apple, and he was getting
Yeah.
bullied the whole game by Cooper Kupp.
Absolutely mossed.
Yeah, but I agree. I mean, I'm not a big fan of athletes who are loud like he is. Like, I understand being confident or whatever, but if you're overly cocky, I don't know. It just not something I enjoy. I would rather your play speak for, and maybe that's just me being like an old head, and I don't like the big flashy social media star type players that are always in the news. But I prefer a guy that's going to go out there and kind of like I said, make his abilities known on the field rather than have to tell you about them. Although there are some exceptions, like Michael Jordan, for example. But like he's the greatest ever. There's a reason he was like that. Or like
Yeah.
Deion Sanders, he's the greatest corner ever. There's a reason he was like that. Or Jaylen Ramsey, I suppose, would fall into that as well. But if you have a guy like Eli Apple, fuck that guy.
I think the main thing is that you have to be able to back it up. And like
Yeah.
Jaylen Ramsey can back it up, but he
Hmm.
didn't for the game.
Yeah.
Okay. Number one, very obvious considering I bring him up almost every podcast when we talk about people that we hate. It's Grayson Allen.
W. Okay. Okay.
And it's pretty clear why. Like
Yeah.
from my perspective, like as of somebody that plays basketball and like I think I'm a nice guy. If something like if I'm even if I'm angry, I'm not gonna try to hurt somebody. I
Hmm.
actually like try to help people. Like if they're falling down or something, I like catch them or something like that. Grayson Allen is the complete opposite of the type of person that I am.
Hmm.
Like I want to be that type of person that's like helping people on the court, like you're playing a game, and he does not. He's the opposite. I hate it. I hate it.
Hmm.
No
Yeah.
room for it. No room
Agreed.
for it in the NBA.
I 100% agree. All right. So my five least favorite. Again, I have honorable mentions. I'm just going to touch on them. Big Ben and Deshaun Watson for obvious reasons. I don't
Very
think I need to
obvious.
state. And Kirk Cousins. Not so much because of him, but his fans. I hate Kirk Cousins fans. They act like he is the second coming of Christ, and he is simply not. Um, so the top five, at number five, we have Chris Conte. Do you know who that is?
No.
He was a safety for the Bears in the early 2010s, and he was, to put it bluntly, dog shit. He is one of the worst. Like, you know how I talk about Eddie Jackson and how bad he
Yeah.
is? Chris Conte is what I make Eddie Jackson out to be, legitimately. Like, I over exaggerate a little bit with Eddie Jackson, I'll be honest. But Chris Conte was that bad and then some. Like, there was specifically a play. I can't remember if it kept us out of the playoffs or screwed our seeding. But the last play of the year against the Green Bay Packers, this man got torched by Randall Cobb, who was not known for torching people. He got absolutely torched by Randall Cobb, and it like I said, I can't remember if it put the Packers above us in the playoffs or if it kicked us out of the playoffs entirely. I was really young when it happened, so I can't remember, but it was bad. And at number four, I have Grayson Allen. Like you said, just an asshole, no good, piece of shit, bad sport, evil man. And number three, I have Clay Matthews, who is my second least favorite Packers player of all time. Very cocky, very loud. One of my favorite things about him was when Jay Cutler retired, someone asked Clay Matthews about his thoughts on it, obviously, because it's a division rival quarterback. And he was like, I'm going to admit, I'm going to miss him boosting my sack numbers over the past 5 years or something like that. And fun fact, the last like not 5 years, but like the last couple years of Jay Cutler's career, Clay Matthews didn't sack him. So he lied. He was wrong. I don't know. I like pointing that out because fuck Clay Matthews. And at number two, Aaron Rodgers. I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Number two.
Yeah, douchebag, asshole, no good, family hating. I own you, head ass. Fucking, I don't even have words. I just hate Aaron Rodgers. And if Aaron Rodgers is 2, who do you think number 1 is?
Oh,
Who do you think it is, Andrew?
is it Mr. James?
It is LeBron James. I hate that cocky son of a bitch more than life itself. I cannot stand listening to that man talk. I cannot stand watching that man play. I cannot stand hearing people talk about him. I cannot stand it. He is a false prophet. He is not the king. He's nothing but a jester. He's fake. He's not real. I hate him. I hate LeBron more than life itself, and I mean that. I think I used that phrase wrong. I hate him more than anything, is what I'm trying to say. He is like, him and Aaron Rodgers are the only 2 athletes I vehemently, like, hate with a passion. Like, I hate the 2 of them more than I like a lot of people. Like, genuinely speaking, and maybe I'm a bad Bears and Bulls fan for this, but I would rather see LeBron lose than the Bulls win, and I would rather see Rodgers lose than the Bears win. Genuinely. Like, the only time I have ever rooted for the Pittsburgh Steelers was when they played the Packers in the Super Bowl, and they couldn't even pull that off. That's another reason why I hate Pittsburgh. And when they play the Packers in the regular season every 4 years, and half the time they can't win those games either. I have a deep-seated hatred for LeBron and Aaron Rodgers. Like, deeply rooted, deeply seated hatred. But yeah, that I feel like we're both very on brand so far.
Yeah, we have, I think.
Okay. I think for the rest of these, I want to go back and forth rather than, like, do all of them at once, do 5, 5, 4. Yeah. So with the next one, let's do superheroes. Let's make that our next one. I'll let you start out here.
Interesting. Okay. Starting with favorites, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fifth favorite. Vision.
Okay.
I think that he is so cool. I love WandaVision so much. And I love his part in that. I think that his relationship with Scarlet Witch is so sad.
Mm-hmm.
I just love it. I love his design. I love Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, Paul Bettany's fantastic, although I'm going to say this right now, and this might piss you off a little bit. WandaVision was my least favorite of all the Disney Plus shows.
But was it good, though?
No, it was good. But I think the rest were marginally better, personally.
Oh, I liked yeah, I agree with that. But, like, I don't agree with that. I see where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, it was cute. No, it was a cute little show, but, like, I don't know. I think Loki and Hawkeye were just, like, so much better. Personally, maybe that's a little bit biased, because, like, my wife is in Hawkeye, and Loki was just fantastic. It had Owen Wilson in it. Like, you can't go wrong.
Come on.
Yeah. So, again, I have honorable mentions because I'm extra. So, my 2 honorable mentions are Batgirl and Deadpool. Batgirl is such a great character. First of all, hold on. I will get to it. Batgirl is incredible. She's extremely underrated. She's, in my opinion, the best female superhero ever. Just because she's so, like, diverse. Like, she goes through a bunch of different shit. Like, they made her a great character, and then they decided to fuck her over and put her in a wheelchair so she couldn't fight crime anymore. And behind the scenes, she still managed to be a badass and still managed to be awesome. So I really like her for that. And not putting Deadpool in my top 5 is hard because he's Deadpool. But, like, I don't know. I feel like as I get older, he's not quite as funny as he was when I was little. Because Man in Red Suit getting stabbed and saying fuck all the time is funny. Admittedly. It is enjoyable. But, like, not... I don't know. Now I'm kind of more into, like, deeper superheroes, I guess, which sounds really stupid to say out loud. But, like, as I look more for, like, character, I suppose, of superheroes, he kind of falls to the wayside. But at number 5, I have Daredevil, who, you know, I've talked about him on here before. Badass. I love Charlie Cox playing him in the Netflix series. Absolutely perfect. The fact that he's just a blind dude with really enhanced senses that beats the shit out of people is hilarious on paper. And then when you dive into like his actual character flaws and how he like struggles to form actual relationships, and that's really hard for him. So he pushes people away and tries to do everything solo, and then he goes into things like the Defenders and actually has to work with people. And I don't know, I like him a lot. And then his cameo in Spider-Man was great. We talked about that. It was a fantastic cameo. I feel like that cameo summed up his character perfectly, which is so weird to say because it was one scene that was like 5 minutes long, and Daredevil's such a diverse character. But like, at least on a surface level, I think that did him really good. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Listen, hold on. For future reference, if I stop talking, that means you can go.
Okay, well, it takes a second for it to come through, and I'm like,
oh, okay. I forgot there's a delay. You're right.
Number 4, very, very niche. You might not even know who he is.
Okay.
The Sentry.
Hold on, what's he from? Because I know the name.
Marvel.
Okay, elaborate then.
Because he plays a huge part in World War Hulk. Because like,
oh, okay, I know who you're talking about. That is really niche. I love it though. I love that.
I didn't know about him. I watched I used to watch the videos where it's like somebody reading a comic, and I watched somebody do the World War Hulk comic, and it was just like him in the apartment, and then he comes out and he's like, well, I guess I should deal with this or whatever, and then he goes punch for punch with World War Hulk until they're both tired out. Like, what? And then also I got more into like reading into him, and he has the Void. And like the Void is so dangerous because it's like a Moon Knight type of situation where like he is the Sentry and then like the Void's also there and like the Void can come out at any time. And like the Void is like extremely dangerous, like more dangerous than the Sentry is. So like when the Void comes out, I think in Secret Wars or something like that, everyone runs away. Like nobody wants to be around him when that happens.
Understandable.
It's so cool, so dope.
Yeah. That is a really niche pick. I like that. I respect it. All right, my number 4, you're going to get mad at this, is Spider-Man.
I'm not mad. I understand why people don't like him.
No, it's not that I don't like Spider-Man. I fucking love Spider-Man.
Like as much as I do.
No, listen, that's the thing. The top 4 for me were hard because they're my 4 favorite superheroes and I love them dearly. But like of the 4, I guess Spider-Man's kind of the odd man out, but he's Spider-Man. Peter Parker's, he's great. I'll ask you when we get to yours, but my favorite version of him is the washed up Peter Parker from Into the Spider-Verse. It's played by Jake Johnson. I think that's like the perfect Spider-Man. Yeah, Peter B. Parker, even though they're all Peter B. Parker. But like, he's great. I love him so much. I don't know what to say. He's Spider-Man. He's fucking Spider-Man.
Oh, come on now.
Right.
Okay. Number 3, Scarlet Witch.
Okay.
I love a lot of these things that I love about them come from the TV shows. So like WandaVision I love every time she gets mad in the MCU. I love that. Because when Quicksilver dies, she falls to her knees, kills everyone around her. When Vision dies, she falls to her knees again, accepts that I love it. I'm getting chills talking about it right now. And I love in What If that, like, in that last episode of What If, spoilers, if you haven't seen it, I mean, like, come on now. But, like, when Doctor Strange brings the zombies in, and they're like, why would you do that? It's so stupid. And then it's like, oh, wait, Scarlet Witch is a zombie.
Right.
Wait a second. I just love how powerful she is.
Yeah, dude, she's dope. She is really dope. I love, one of my favorite things about her is their exploration of her mental health. Like, there's a lot of characters in Marvel that have bad things going on mentally. Like, you have Cap with his PTSD and I guess kind of like a type of imposter syndrome in a way. I might be completely off on that. Tony's an alcoholic. Thor's depressed. Wanda has her stuff going on. Moon Knight has BPD, or multiple personality disorder. Deadpool is schizophrenic. Like, there's so many good characters with mental illness in Marvel, and I feel like she was kind of the first example of them exploring that well, because they just gloss over the fact that Tony's an alcoholic. They make it like a 10-minute plot point, and Iron Man 2 or Iron
Iron
Man
Man
3.
2, yeah.
Yeah.
Iron Man 2.
Yeah. And that's like nothing, even though that's like a huge thing in the comics. And Thor's like depressed in Endgame, but they kind of make a joke out of it.
Yeah,
Like
that's the
it's
worst
more
part.
like, yeah, it's like more haha funny. He's fat. Than, oh, this is a guy who just lost everything and blames himself and is struggling deeply with his mental health. And they never really did anything for Cap with the fact that he was literally taken from everything he knew and plugged
Yeah.
into a new world where everyone he loved except for Peggy and Bucky were dead. But with Wanda, I feel like they've done such a good job exploring her mental health and really how that's impacted her and how she's still not right and still struggling with that kind of stuff. So I agree, she's great. My number 3 is Batman. I'm a DC guy over a Marvel guy. I think at this point, just the more I watch, just the animation. The animation for DC is so perfect. I finished, or not finished. I got caught up on Young Justice the other night, so I've been big on DC. And then obviously the Batman just came out. Perfect, absolutely perfect superhero movie. I loved that they kind of delved into him being the world's greatest detective more than just him being Batman, which is something we've talked about on here. But that's the thing with Batman. He's such a diverse character and such a deep character to where you're at the end of the day, this is a human male who lost his parents and never learned how to grieve.
Yeah.
So now that turned into him fighting global and intergalactic threats in some issues, or fighting a crazy guy in clown makeup, or I don't know, just everything surrounding Batman. His rogues gallery, the Bat family, which I've already touched on and we'll get to here in a minute as well. Um, the Justice League, his relationship with Superman is always super interesting because they play off each other so well. And the fact that he's just always ready for everything. One of my favorite things in the world is Batman's contingency plans, where he has
Yeah.
a plan to take down each member of the Justice League if they were to go rogue. And it's so funny because you go through all of them, right? And it's all this crazy stuff like get Superman with sun lamps or Krypton rocks, do this, do that. And then for him, it's just like, I'm a human. Act like you're going to kill somebody, lure me in, and then shoot me. Like that's literally his contingency plan for himself. And it's the same thing with like Green Arrow, where it's just like he's just a dude with a bow and arrow. Take it from
Shoot
him.
him.
Yeah, take
Shoot
it from him
him.
and then shoot him. But I just love, most adaptations of Batman. I love how blunt he is to
Yeah.
the point where it's almost comedic. Like I was watching Batman the Animated Series, which is the best depiction of Batman overall. Like by far, Kevin Conroy is Batman to me. And it was just something simple like Nightwing came out of nowhere and it was him, Robin, and Nightwing. And Robin was really excited to see me. I was like, oh, hey, it's Nightwing. And then Nightwing looks over at Batman and he was like, you need to work on your stealth skills. I heard you from like 20 feet away. Rather than being like, hey, son, how are you doing? Like, I just love that. And I love his relationship. Like, I don't know. It again, like Spider-Man, it's Batman.
Yeah.
That's really all that needs to be said. It's Batman.
All right. My number 2 is Doctor Strange. And I need to explain this before we get into the dislikes as well. I like characters that are powerful but have flaws, like Scarlet Witch.
Right.
Like she's powerful, like super powerful, but like
Mm-hmm.
she's not overly powerful where she could like beat everyone. I love Doctor Strange because of like where he comes from. Like he was this super big doctor, then he got in this accident, and specifically, I love him in What If.
Mm-hmm.
I think What If is my favorite Marvel show
Which is
that came
great
out
to
on
hear
television.
because it does not give New the credit it deserves.
I
It's so good.
It's so wonderful. I love the episode when it's what if he lost his heart instead of his hands.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. I love that he was able to see the Watcher. I love in that show, first of all, that happens, that people
Mm-hmm.
can feel and see the Watcher. But like, I love him just because he's like he's super cocky. Usually I wouldn't like that, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just the fact that he like follows it all the time. He has a code that he follows no matter what. He knows he's more powerful than everyone, and he acts like it. He knows that like he can turn the tide. I love him in Endgame when he
Mm-hmm.
comes back. He's the reason that everyone comes to that battle. He's the reason for that final charge, which I love. It's just and his powers are fascinating to me because
Mm-hmm.
it makes me feel like anybody could put the work in and study and become as powerful as him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Doctor Strange is awesome. I'm so excited for Multiverse of Madness. That comes out. When does that come out? Like next month?
Soon,
Yeah,
soon.
it's real soon. I'm so pumped for that. Doctor Strange is awesome. He steals the show in anything he's in. Um, what was it? Like in No Way Home, he's great.
Yeah.
And I know people like to make fun of like Marvel humor or whatever, but him going Scooby Doo this shit is like genuinely funny to me.
Yeah.
Just because you don't expect it from him. But he's just such a sarcastic asshole, and I love characters like that. Like Batman's the same way, where it's very dry humor, but it's
Yeah.
great because of the delivery and who it's from and whatnot. And Benedict Cumberbatch was perfect casting for Doctor Strange too. My number two is Captain America. I've always loved Captain America. You know, I went through that whole phase in the beginning of high school where I thought Republican politics were everything. So that's why I started to like Cap because I was like, oh, this guy's a true American. And I mean, I still am very patriotic. I love my country, so I still love Cap. But like the fact that he's a character that is kind of painted to be the ideal American, you know, like that's kind of his point. He was literally made to be propaganda for World
Yeah.
War II. Like the first issue of him is literally punching Hitler. That's the first image of Captain America ever, is him punching Hitler on his first comic. And the fact that nowadays he's kind of turned into like the ideal for what an American should be, rather than the concept that we've always had, because he's very like leery of the government and leery of kind of the way America has trended with different things. And he's surprisingly progressive for an individual who was born and raised in the 1940s. I don't know. I just love Cap and Chris Evans. I don't necessarily like him too much as an actor, but as Captain America is perfect.
Perfect.
God, I think it's Earth's Mightiest Heroes is the Avengers cartoon I watched, and Roger Craig Smith, who voices Sonic the Hedgehog, was perfect as Captain America as well. Like, I just feel like as long as you have a dude with a very stoic voice, you can do Cap very well. And anyone
Yeah.
who thinks he's like one dimensional, like that's a critique I see of Cap all the time, is that he's one dimensional and doesn't have a lot of character, and he's just like man out of time, and that's it. I think that's ridiculous. I think
Yeah.
Captain America is a wonderful character, and I don't know, he's just someone that always steals the show for me, and he's one of the reasons that I'm very like leery of Marvel going forward. I'm excited. I like what they're doing. I like what they're setting up, but not having Steve Rogers. I guess I should specify. I mean Steve Rogers, Captain America, because there are different renditions. Like I love Sam too, but Steve Rogers, Captain America, is by far my favorite. And I guess I should point out as well, like you did, I really like superheroes who are like flawed humans and not necessarily majorly super powered. Like Superman's cool, the Hulk's cool, Thor's cool, whatever. And I guess Captain America kind of falls into like the superhuman, but really it's just like I don't know. He's a normal dude. He can still die from like a bullet or whatever. But that's kind of what I prefer because they feel like regular people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put it this way: I like flawed superheroes with strong wills. That's the best way to put it. Because Captain America and Batman as well, and then the guy I have at number one, who should be obvious, all have very strong wills, and that's a big thing to me. Superheroes with like, and Peter Parker too is the same way. Characters with like big hearts that just want to do the right thing. That's the type of
Yeah.
superhero I like.
Even my favorite part of Cap, maybe not my favorite part, but one of my favorites is his relationship with Peggy.
Yeah.
It's so sad. It is so sad. I watched the first
Mm-hmm.
Avenger, and literally I was like tears in my eyes
Mm-hmm.
because like their last words were like the dance or whatever, and I was like, I didn't realize how sad it was. And
Mm-hmm.
then, oh my god, man! Then he goes back in Endgame. God. So
And
perfect.
people are
I
mad at
love
that.
him.
People get so mad over that he left Bucky.
Yeah,
That's so
no,
stupid to me.
that's so dumb.
Like, listen, I get that he was his best friend, but he knew Bucky was fine without him. You know, it's not like he just
And
made this decision on a whim. It was like, yeah, go fend for yourself. He was like, he definitely sat him down and was like, listen, I got to do this. And Bucky was definitely like, okay, because when it happens, he's so chill with it.
exactly, I was gonna say it looked like he knew
Yeah,
that he
he
was gonna do it.
definitely knew about it. And like, they weren't getting along at the time, but I'm sure Steve knew that Sam would be there for Bucky. And that was
Yeah,
like the plan was to kind of like, I mean, he literally gave him the shield. I feel like he knew that it was inevitable that they would form some kind of bond and that would help him out.
yeah.
Because I think it's ridiculous to get mad at Steve over that. Although I will say it is kind of weird that the man did kind of kiss his niece. That's odd. That's the one thing that I thought was bad about MCU Steve, I suppose.
Was it his niece or was it? It's like the.
It would be
It's like
it was Peggy's niece, but like it's implied that he goes back and like would have been the father or like the husband that Peggy had. So technically
I
it was
see.
his niece, but he wouldn't have like been able to know that was the case.
Yeah, until he went back in time, and he was
Yeah.
probably like, "Ooh,
Yeah, just
ooh."
imagine Peggy comes to him and is like, oh my god, my sister just had a baby. She's gonna name it
It
Sharon.
was Sharon.
That's why time travel's
Oh,
weird.
yeah. Okay. Very obviously, my number one favorite is Spider-Man.
Hmm.
I adore him so much.
Who's your
He's just
favorite
like
Spider-Man?
favorite Spider-Man is Ben Riley, just because I love his costume.
Okay, I love that. That is great.
I love his costume so much. When I play the video game, I
Hmm.
like there's like 29 or
Yeah.
like 28 costumes. I only use that one.
Hmm.
That's how much I love the costume. But like literally everything about him makes me so happy. Like the fact that he's always so optimistic.
Hmm.
I love in Into the Spider-Verse when they say like along something along the lines of like to be a Spider-Man you have to learn how to get up after you get hit.
Hmm.
And it's like always like because Spider-Man like is such an idol to all these kids, to all these people that look up to him. Maybe I'm just thinking about this now. My favorite Spider-Man scene is when in Spider-Man 1, The Amazing Spider-Man,
Hmm.
the Amazing Spider-Man 1, when he catches the car with the kid in it
Hmm.
and he gives him the mask.
Yeah.
It is so good. It is
Hmm.
such a good scene. It's perfectly what Spider-Man is all about.
Hmm.
Because he's like he already is what Batman is like always trying to work towards, which is a symbol of hope.
Yeah.
And like it's just always like no matter what happens, he always picks the right thing
Hmm.
because he knows that like that's the right thing to do. He always pushes towards it. He's always optimistic. He like even like it's always awesome also to see when he's mad because like he almost kills Wilson Fisk
Yeah.
after May dies or May gets injured, and he's like, I could kill you in a second,
Same thing
but I
with
won't.
Goblin in No Way Home.
Exactly, and
Hmm.
it's the same. It's with every single criminal because he's
Yeah.
the coolest thing in the world to me is that he's always holding back, and if he
Hmm.
didn't, he could kill somebody. I love in uh one of his stories when Doc Ock switches bodies with him.
Yeah.
The first punch that Doc Ock throws, he breaks the Scorpion's jaw off,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god!"
Superior Spider-Man is dope.
It's so dope, and it's always cool to think that he's more powerful than he's letting
Hmm.
on, and it's all I love. Oh my god, saddest, not the saddest. I cried when I watched Infinity War when he died,
Hmm.
because like everything about that, it's like he felt it
Yep.
coming. He was strong enough to withstand it, and he's also like dying in his arms. I love it.
Yeah.
I literally can't explain why I love Spider-Man as much as I do, but I just do.
Yeah. I mean, God, that was perfect. Honestly, like your explanation. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I have a favorite Spider-Man scene because there's so many that are just like perfect, and the ones that I automatically go to aren't like yours where it summarizes his character. It's like goofy stuff, like when Peter, Toby, I keep saying this, when Tom, Toby, and Andrew are on the scaffolding and are like bantering. That's great. Bully Maguire is always fantastic when he's doing the little dance, and Pizza Time, obviously. Um, I don't know. I guess I might say that my favorite is Tom when he's fighting the Goblin. Just like you said, him not pulling his punches, because that's exactly what's happening there. And then Toby eventually stops him. Toby's Spider-Man, but I agree. The fact that he's always holding back is awesome, and it's something that I hadn't thought about until they mentioned it in No Way Home. Because I'll admit, I liked Spider-Man, but I was never like a big Spider-Man fanboy until No Way Home came out. Because I watched that and I was like, oh right, he's dope. This is a great character.
All right.
Yeah. So my number one, if it wasn't obvious, is Nightwing. He is, in my opinion, the ultimate superhero. First of all, I love the contrast between him and Batman, because Nightwing is Batman, but better in every aspect.
Yeah.
He's a better person. He's a better detective. He's a better fighter. Like, there have been multiple. There was one issue. I can't remember who wrote it, who was the author, or what run it was in. But there was an issue where Nightwing came back from something. Like, there have been a couple times where he's had to like fake his death and go like do recon and stuff. I think he came back from one of those. And Bruce was like, I want you to fight me and don't hold back. And Nightwing beat the shit out of him. I mean, literally beat the absolute shit out of him. And the author of the comic, again, I can't remember who it was, he literally said, I wanted this to be a comic where Batman and Nightwing fought each other at full strength so I could show that Nightwing is better. But the fact that he was, literally the same thing happened to him that happened to Bruce. He lost his parents. He went into foster care and was adopted by, I mean, I guess it was slightly different because Bruce was just raised by Alfred, but he was adopted by Bruce. And then he did the whole crime fighting thing, better than Batman in the end. And he just, like I said, he is just what Batman wants to be. He is what Batman should be. He is better than Batman in every aspect. And watching him, just be this great, witty type of character. Like, he's kind of like DC's Spider-Man in a way, that he's like the young, like, funny, cool, smooth type of character. Like, he's the definition of a ladies' man, which is bad sometimes, because there was one issue where he met up with Batgirl after not seeing her for a while, and they slept together. And then right after, he handed her an invitation to his and Starfire's wedding, which is, that's a thing that happened. Yeah, like he's not perfect, obviously. He's still human. But there's so many good representations and adaptations in him. Like, Young Justice is fantastic. He's voiced by Jesse McCartney, which is the funniest thing in the world to me. Again, in Batman the Animated Series, he's great. And then there's the movie based off that Batman and Harley Quinn that he's in that's great. Teen Titans Robin is probably the best, or Teen Titans Dick Grayson, rather, is probably the best version. But he is just he's not perfect, but he is everything that I like in a superhero. Like I said, he's super strong-willed. He doesn't kill. He has a no-kill rule, which is a big thing for me as well, because superheroes shouldn't kill. Yeah. That's another reason why Deadpool is kind of low. I guess I should mention that now, is that he kills people, and you shouldn't do that. And yeah, he's just better Batman. Literally, he is better Batman.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're going to the
least favorite.
Favorite stuff. Okay. Might be hot. These next two for me might be steaming.
Okay.
Number 5, Flash. I'll wait for him to come back to explain.
What?
No, wait. Okay. This is another type of thing where I couldn't find 5, so I was just like, okay, I have a slight annoyance with this.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot you don't vehemently hate things like I do. You're just like, this is not one that I like as much as others.
I literally wrote on this, it was like Flash, parentheses, low-key, end parentheses.
Oh, okay.
And it's because he's too powerful.
Too powerful?
Yes. Like what I said is like I like people that are like strong, but like not too strong where they're unbeatable.
Okay.
And Flash is that guy. Like if you put Flash against, like it's like Flash versus another person, Flash wins every time, every single time Flash wins.
I don't know
And
about
that's
every
something that
single
I
time.
don't like.
I think there's some people out there that can beat the Flash. There's definitely people out there that can beat the Flash.
Who?
Batman. He has a contingency plan.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's see what his
Yeah.
contingency plan is. One plan Batman has created is with nanites, which, if injected near the neck or base of the spine, would cause the Flash to become completely disoriented or suffer a seizure. Jesus! I forgot how brutal these were. Yeah, so all you got to do is inject him with these special nanites, and he'll have a seizure, and that's how you beat the Flash. I don't know,
He's
just
too quick.
you just walk up to him like, "Hey, man, how's it going? How's it going?" Just yeah.
No, that's the only reason I don't like him is because it's just that he's so powerful.
Yeah,
So
I
quick.
suppose. Oh, okay. My number 5. I don't have honorable mentions for this because this was really hard to do. Like, there are some superheroes that are like bad people, but they're not bad people in every rendition. Like Hank Pym is a piece of shit in the comics, like horrible, terrible domestic abuse type piece of shit. But he's in the MCU, and he's just grumpy, funny old man. And like in other renditions of the Avengers, he's just a grumpy science man. He's not a domestic abuser. So I guess technically he could be on here. But my number 5 is Captain Planet. I don't know why. Captain Planet just pisses me off. He's just annoying. Save the Earth, kids. How about you save some people from some real crimes, some real danger? How about you do something meaningful?
We have science teachers for what you're doing, man.
Yeah, exactly. Your job can be done by a science teacher. Go save somebody from a hostage situation. Go be a real superhero.
Okay. Good to have a laugh before what I'm gonna say right now. Another low key one, and for the same reason as Flash, is Superman.
Yeah, I figured that was coming when you said Flash and your reasoning.
I will say I think I should have flipped these guys because I think that Superman is extremely dope when he does things like goes into the sun for 100 million years and then comes back and he's literally God.
Yeah,
stuff like that is cool. But like, just the fact that he could just, like any villain he could just kill if he wanted to.
Yeah, but he doesn't because he's another guy that has a really strong will.
Yeah, and it's the no kill rule. But when like you have like an omniversal threat and you're not killing them, that type of stuff makes me mad. It's the same. That's the same type of thing with like Flash, just because like you can probably kill this person if need be.
Yeah,
but you don't every time.
I don't know. I think the thing with that, as someone who's all my favorite superheroes don't kill people. I think my thing with that, the Joker and Batman are the perfect example, right? Like Batman should kill the Joker. Objectively speaking, he should be dead. Yeah. However, if Batman does that, he's no better than the Joker. He is on the same level as the Joker, and especially with how broken Batman is up here. If he kills the Joker, he's probably going to go down the same path. Like, there's a lot of stories where he does kill the Joker, and one of them results in the Batman Who Laughs. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's literally just Batman if he was the Joker. But so it's like super Joker with super tactician skills, detective skills, a crazy arsenal. Like it is everyone's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
And then you have a guy like Superman who is an omnipotent god, or not omnipotent. That's the word wrong word. That was completely wrong word. A uber powerful god amongst men. And if he starts killing people, that's going to be bad for like his public reputation, I suppose. Because like you got an alien coming here and just killing everybody. That's not what they want. That's going to make the people fear Superman. That's like not his shtick. Something, like, I don't know. I just think I don't remember where I was going to go with that. I already lost my train of thought. But superheroes who don't kill, I think, are justified. But I do,
Yeah.
and I do want to say too, I think Superman, like you said, you should have flipped him because Superman is a lot easier to defeat because you just get Big Green Rock and be like, don't touch me. Don't come near me.
Oh.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? Oh shit, I have an alarm going off. Why do I have an alarm going off? But yeah, like Big Green Rock, magic, red light. Like there's a lot of ways to take down Superman.
Yeah.
But his powers as a whole are very overpowered.
Yeah.
So that's fair. What are we on? Number 4? My number 4 is Iron Fist. I don't like him because he just feels like a superhero based on cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
Because his entire character arc is he's a rich white kid who gets in an act, like his parents die in a plane crash, and then he gets adopted into a tribe of like, I don't remember exactly where, but Asian monks, and becomes their prophet and their savior. That entire comic book is literally a bunch of Asian people couldn't do something right or couldn't save themselves, so they needed a white man to come in and do it. That just feels wrong.
Yeah.
That just feels so wrong. And then in the Netflix show, he's just such a little bitch. Like when you put him in the Defenders, he is easily the weakest link. I don't know. I feel like Iron Fist would work a lot better if he was just an Asian superhero. And I don't know, maybe that would be too on the nose because it's like Asian kung fu master with a big fist, but like at least you don't have a white guy coming in to save the day for all the Asian people. That's ridiculous. I feel bad for not knowing what part of Asia it is, but it just feels racist. His entire character concept just feels racist.
Yeah. I was gonna say just specifically because the Netflix show is so bad.
Well, yeah,
I
that
couldn't
too.
understand that. I'm gonna do some quick background check just so I know if this is like.
Oh god.
Okay, wait a minute. That was bad. So my next one is Spawn.
You don't like Spawn?
I don't like Spawn because he has. This just should be getting boring at this point in time. Because like face value, oh, it's Spawn. He's not that powerful. He has like 4 different spreadsheet paper lists of powers.
Okay.
Anything that you could possibly think of, he has. And like the reason I said it should be getting boring at this point is because I hate all these people for the same reason.
Yeah.
They're all way too powerful. Like you could literally any power you could think of he has. And I didn't even know about that.
See, I didn't know that either.
I saw a video. I saw a video and it was like, oh well, he actually has all of this.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god. I didn't know that. That's weird because this guy's not that popular. Like I guess like it's pretty obvious. Like you guys know why I don't like superheroes because they're so powerful. He's literally unbeatable. He's like Doom Guy. You know Doom Guy from the Doom games?
Yeah.
He's Doom Guy.
Yeah.
He's Doom Guy but more powerful and has everything.
Mm-hmm. I think superheroes like that work well if it's like a one-off thing where they're like by themselves in their own secluded little universe where it's just like, oh, this guy's dope. He just kills everything. But then you try to put them in like a larger universe, like if he was in DC or Marvel or whatever, which I think he's an independent thing. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about Spawn. I just know he was in Mortal Kombat one year, and I used to play with him in Mortal Kombat, and he was pretty cool, and he like fights demons. But like, if you try to put a character like that in a bigger extended universe, it just feels so out of place because it's like at any given moment he could just wipe everyone, and that like defeats the purpose, kind of like you said. What am I on? Number 3? My number 3 is Captain Marvel. I hated the movie. Yeah. The movie was bad. And I know comic Captain Marvel isn't quite as bad, and other renditions of Captain Marvel aren't quite as bad. But Brie Larson just made her so insufferable, in my opinion. Like, when she shows up in Endgame and is like, just thinking she can fight Thanos one-on-one. I can't remember exactly how she put it, or like when Thor summons Stormbreaker and it just like goes over her shoulder. She doesn't give a shit. Like, she's just so cocky. She's just so cocky, and they don't give her any flaws. Like, you were talking about Doctor Strange earlier. He's cocky, but he has flaws. Tony Stark's cocky, but he has flaws, and he kind of, reconciles with it. Captain Marvel's just like, I'm better than all of you, and there was nothing wrong with me ever. And, like, if a superhero doesn't have flaws, they're a shitty superhero. All superheroes need to have flaws.
This is a crazy coincidence, because my number 2 is Captain Marvel. And I'm going to elaborate on why I don't like her. It's because, well, first of all, her movie is freaking bad. It's freaking terrible. I was doing the thing on TikTok that I've given up on at this point. I was going through all the movies and rating them. It was it was the worst one.
How far into that did you get?
Like 6 movies. Okay.
I was gonna say, I remember you doing that and then you just stopped.
Yeah, but like Captain Marvel was the worst one. I genuinely was watching it and I was like, I can't watch this anymore. The reason I don't like her is because she's like the type of person. It's the same thing with like Rey Skywalker. Whoa. Rey from the Star Wars.
Rey Palpatine.
It's like they're super cocky at the beginning of their stories, and then they're still cocky.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing to humble them.
Like Doctor Strange again, super cocky, gets humbled, is humble. Captain Marvel gets humbled, is not humble. Gets humbled, is not humble. Gets humbled, is not humble. It happens so many times in that movie. It is so ridiculous. And like even the movie being bad contributes to her character being bad because she says a bunch of stuff that's not funny. She continues to be a cocky a-hole even after getting whooped by a bunch of aliens. It's just a culmination of every like bad thing in a character. Because she's also too powerful.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing too. I will say the one good thing about Captain Marvel is she inspires Miss Marvel, which is a dope character. But she sucks. She is the worst, awful, terrible. My number 2, you might not know who this is Lagoon Boy. Do you have any idea who that is? So he's a DC character. He's an Atlantean. And he's this goofy looking, look up a picture of him so you have reference. He's a goofy looking little serpent guy. And he has a big role in Young Justice, which I absolutely love. And he's so goddamn annoying. There's a whole arc where Miss Martian, who is the niece of Martian Manhunter, and Connor Kent, who is the clone of Superman, they're an item. They're dating throughout the show. There's a point where they go on a break and Miss Marvel starts dating Lagoon Boy, and he's just so fucking annoying the whole time. He serves no purpose. I remember making a TikTok a while back, and it was like, if you could punch one fictional character in the face, who would it be? And I was like, listen, this motherfucker is going to beat my ass because he has the ability to like puff up and get big. So he would beat my ass, but I would happily take a shot. Just one. All I need is one. I will say, though, it's kind of interesting what they did with him because he phased out of the show, and then in the new season, they put him in a bisexual polyamorous couple, which is like came out of nowhere, but like representation is good, I suppose. Which Young Justice does a great job with. In the new season, they have 2 openly bisexual characters, and 2 openly gay characters, 3 actually it's 3 bisexual characters, a non-binary character, and like transracial, I guess is what she would be, which is like, I don't think that's actually a thing, but there's that Miss Martian identifies as like a human. So I guess kind of. I don't know. They do a great job with representation, but his just felt weird because out of nowhere, you're like watching this episode, right? And it's this big episode about all the leaders of the parts of Atlantis coming together, and the wife in the relationship is pregnant, and she's one of the leaders, right? And so after the conference, she like goes out and he's playing with the son of Aquaman, or I guess he's not Aquaman anymore, but like the King of Atlantis, Arthur, and she's like, "You're going to be such a great dad." And then there's this big explosion in the third person, and the relationship gets hurt. And at the same time, they're both like, "I got to go see my husband," and it's just like, what the fuck? And then they show it, and it's like, oh, huh,
cool.
Like I said, real people do that, so representation's always good, but it just felt like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like he went from just an annoying little bitch character to like, huh, okay. I just can't stand him.
Yeah, he looks stupid.
Yeah, he's real stupid looking.
Okay. My number one most hated superhero. Well, what is the word for it? Anti-hero, I guess.
I don't know.
Is Morbius.
Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, I saw
That's
it
why.
2 days ago.
That's why.
Let me just say, God, he's insufferable. He is, like, maybe in the comics he's cool or whatever. I don't care. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. I literally, no words, no like actual deep thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's just dumb. He's stupid. Jared Leto, cool, dumb, dumb. I can't elaborate right now.
Yeah, I haven't
spoiled something in the future.
Yeah, I haven't seen Morbius. I've heard it's god awful, and just from the trailers, he looks goofy. Like the one scene where he's like trying to scare somebody, and he's like, "It's Venom," and then he's like, "Just kidding, it's your friend, Dr. Michael Morbius." Like that's the humor that people mock Marvel for. Like that is textbook dumb.
Yeah.
My number one is Sprite from the Eternals. Have you seen that?
I haven't. I saw Morbius, but I did not see the Eternals.
Okay, so Sprite's like the little one.
Yeah.
And she is fucking intolerable. Because the whole movie... I'm going to spoil Eternals. Do you care?
No.
Okay, so the whole movie she's in love with Icarus, who's like their Superman, kind of. But he's in love with someone else. And she's like a little kid, but she's a shapeshifter. So she's always like, they've always looked at me like I'm a little kid. I can't handle it anymore. I want to be in love with Icarus. So it's like, okay, just grow up. You can literally do it yourself. Just grow the fuck up. You don't need to sit and bitch about it the whole movie. And then at the end of the movie, they like let her become an actual kid. Like they take her powers or some shit. I don't know. It's just fucking weird. She's just so fucking annoying. You would have to watch the movie to really get it. But I cannot stand her at all. It is so annoying.
Yeah, there's really not words to describe why we don't like these characters.
Yeah. All right, what do we want to do next? Also for reference, we might want to speed it up a little bit.
Okay, there's a quick one. Let's do rappers.
Okay, go ahead.
Quick. Okay.
Start with your favorites.
At 5, Jay-Z.
Oh wait, favorites. I got confused. I thought we were talking least favorites.
No, fifth favorite is Jay-Z.
Yeah, just run through your 5. Run through your 5.
Jay-Z, Kanye, Eminem, Kid Cudi, Kendrick.
Okay, that's a W list. Yeah. Anyone you want to elaborate on?
Kanye. Oh, I have like song titles that I like.
Okay.
Kendrick. All Right, Humble Pride.
Okay.
All Right is such a good song.
Mm-hmm.
He absolutely killed it. Best performance at the Super Bowl, in my opinion. That's what really got me into it.
I gotta respectfully disagree with that statement.
Well, I mean, like, I didn't even know who he was, and I was like, oh my god, it's Kendrick. Oh my god.
You didn't know who Kendrick was?
No, it was like the top down. And I was like,
I thought you were saying you didn't know who Kendrick Lamar was before the Super Bowl.
No, I was like the top down. And I was like, what? What is this like grid thing? And then it went down. I was like, oh.
Oh, okay.
Kid Cudi, just because "Pursuit of Happiness" might be the best song I've ever listened to. Like when that song comes on, it's like start
Yep.
floating into the air, and I'm like, oh my
Him and
god, it's
Kanye
Florida
have a lot
Kanye.
of songs like that where it just feels like you're floating.
Yeah. Eminem,
Eminem.
White Boy. Stan, godly, godly. Best thing a white man has ever made. I'm not even kidding. Best thing a white man has ever made.
Fair enough. Greatest storytelling rap track of all time.
Exactly. Black Skinhead for Kanye gets me hype every time. All of the lights. We Major is like, it's like a type of song where I just like put my hand out of a window and do this too. And then Jay-Z is Jay-Z. So of course.
Right. All right, my top 5. I have the Beastie Boys as an honorable mention. Love the Beastie Boys. And then my top 5, I have Will Smith at 5. Will Smith is a legitimate rapper, okay?
Yeah.
I see your grin. He is a legitimate rapper. Big Willie Style is one of the better rap albums out there. He won the first rap Grammy for Wild Wild West. Dude's legit. And he did it all without cursing. He was a family-friendly rapper. He rapped about honeys instead of bitches. And you gotta love that. Yeah. Number 4, I have Method Man. I love the Method Man. Dude's awesome. Number 3, I have Wu-Tang. That's a group, so it's kind of cheating, but like they're the greatest rap group of all time, and you can take any single one of them out and have them have their own solo career, which they all did, and they're all going to be very successful. Number 2, I have Childish Gambino. Love Donald Glover. The dude can do literally everything. And at number 1, I have Eminem, who is the polar opposite of Will Smith. And I mean, yeah, he's Eminem. He's fucking Marshall Mathers.
Yeah, you can't say much.
All right, who are your 5 least favorite?
At 5, 6ix9ine.
Okay.
At 4, Kanye. The reason, specifically, Can't Tell Me Nothing. The song Can't Tell Me Nothing. Half of the time, Kanye says the stupidest lyric. Apology. What are you talking about? Oh my god. No, but like sometimes, like he's a great storyteller half the time. Black Skinhead is a freaking bar the whole time. But he, just the fact that he said apology and he had the balls to say that.
That's
negative.
That's not even like the worst Kanye lyric.
I know. The first thing that comes to mind. It's in my head.
Hold on.
Why would he say that?
You keep going. I gotta look up a specific Kanye lyric.
3rd, Machine Gun Kelly. Got absolutely whooped in a beef. Ran away. Has now made the worst song I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yup.
Dear God, it's so bad. Number 2, Megan Thee Stallion, and number 1 in the same fold, Cardi B.
Okay.
They've made a toxic community of people where no, actually, let me rephrase that. The people that listen and like their rap are my least favorite people in the world. I'm not even kidding.
So like 90% of white women.
Yeah.
Okay, I found the lyric I was looking for. It's from Father Stretch My Hands Part 1. And it's the Bleach lyric. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Let me hear it. I don't remember.
He says, and now if I fuck this model and she just bleached her asshole and I get bleach on my t-shirt, I'ma feel like an asshole. That's the worst of Kanye, in my opinion. Like, that is laughably horrible.
Yeah, that is god awful. Jesus. That is so bad. Oh my god.
All right. My 5 least favorite. Number 5, I have Kodak Black. He just pisses me off. I don't really have an explanation. At 4, I have 6ix9ine. Pretty self-explanatory. Number 3, I have Ja Rule, who I can't stand him because, first of all, he was another guy that thought he could fuck with Eminem. And he said something about Eminem's daughter when she was young. And then he pretty much capitalized off of Tupac's death and like tried to become Tupac after Tupac and was very commercially successful. So I don't like that. Number 2, I have MGK. Again, obvious reasons. He's just terrible. And at number 1, I have Drake. Drake, for me, is on the same level as Aaron Rodgers and LeBron James. I hate that dude more than anything. His music, dog shit. His personality, dog shit. He's just such a little whiny bitch. And all of his music is just radio trash. At least it is nowadays. It used to be fine. Like early 2010s, I liked Drake. Forever is one of my favorite songs ever. And Drake has a great verse on that. But then you hear him say shit like, girl said she was a lesbian, I said me too. What the fuck? What is that? Yeah, that's mine.
This is the most heated I've been on the podcast.
Yeah, it is.
I'm kind of scared.
All right, let's do musicians. Let you go first.
Number 5. Current Joys. I don't think a lot of people will know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
4, Billie Eilish.
Okay.
I think she is somehow underrated. I think I was one of the people that hated her. I hated her when like all these people were like, "Oh my God, she's so good. She's a queen." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then like eventually, Bad Guy was just in my head constantly, and I was like, maybe she's like. Maybe she's not that bad.
No, I like Billie Eilish too. I'm not a huge fan, but I like her. She's interesting.
She's genuinely talented.
Yeah, she's extremely talented.
It's so hard to come by, but she's like can actually sing, and the way that she like uses the lyrics to explain her situation, she's so wonderful.
She's different. I like that a lot too, because a lot of music today sounds the same, and she's very different.
Yeah. Number 3, I have Lil Nas X.
Okay.
Dear God. That he gets me going. His songs make me feel his songs make me feel some type of way.
Okay.
Like Montero, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
He's on a roll. He's on a roll.
Dude hasn't missed. He simply hasn't missed.
Not yet.
He's got like
Holiday banger. Banger.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Number 2, back to my more normal stuff. Because like Current Joys is like tame. Then I have Billie Eilish, Lil Nas X. Hype. Another chill one, Mac DeMarco.
Okay.
Super. Do you know who that is?
I know who he is, but I don't listen to a lot of his stuff.
Oh my God. I listened to him on Vine. Back when Vine was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. His music is like I like to listen to music that like high people would listen to when they're high, but when I'm completely low, you know? Mm-hmm. And he's that guy. And then number 1, I have Lord Huron.
Okay.
I think his music it's all basically the same song, but he just tells stories with his songs, which I love.
Mm-hmm. All right, so for this one, I have honorable mentions again. I have Silk Sonic, which is Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. That album, An Evening with Silk Sonic, is drugs, literally drugs. It is so good. It literally, all I have to do is put on one of those songs, and it can completely flip my mood, and I love that. I love upbeat music. I'm not someone who's going to sit and listen to sad music. I don't like that. I'm a happy person, even though I'm very angry. I don't like to be sad. Then my other honorable mention is Bob Dylan. Greatest songwriter ever, greatest storyteller ever. But when it comes to pure music, he's great, don't get me wrong, but there's a couple people I like more. Number 5, I have Jimi Hendrix, who, in my opinion, is the single greatest guitar player ever. What he does with a guitar should be illegal, and it is insane. He is where the term heavy metal came from, fun fact. He got real popular overseas and then came back to America and was popular for a couple years before he died. He's one of the people that's in that 27 club or whatever it's called, where all the But when he was overseas, it was in England, I think, somewhere over in Europe. Somebody compared him playing guitar to the sound of heavy metal, and that's where that term came from. Number 4, I have Post Malone. Love me some Posty. Can't go wrong with Posty. And the dude's such a great guy.
Yeah.
I watched a video of him the other day, and there was this boy who he had something wrong with him. I'm not sure what it was, but he had some sort of disorder, and it was his 21st birthday, so his family took him out drinking. And Post Malone walked over and was like so excited because the kid was so excited. He walked up to him, and this was my favorite part of the whole thing. He stuck his hand out and said, "Hi, I'm Austin." He didn't introduce himself as Post Malone. He introduced himself as a human. And then the mom
Yeah.
started crying because she was so excited. He went over and hugged her. He's just such a sweet dude. At number 3, I have my wife, Haley Steinfeld. Genuinely speaking, she makes wonderful music. I don't care what anyone says. Her music is awesome. Number 2, I have Sublime, which kind of fits into your whole liking music that high people like, even though we don't smoke weed. Because Sublime is literally the definition of stoner music, but there's just something about ska punk that just gets me going. Like Bradley Noel, may he rest in peace, is just he's just incredible. And at number 1, I have Leonard Skynyrd. I am the Sublime, Leonard Skynyrd, Hendrix, Bob Dylan. That's what I was raised on. That's my dad's type of music. The rap's more my mom's type of music. And Skynyrd was just always the one that stuck out to me. Give Me 3 Steps, Sweet Home Alabama, which is the greatest diss track of all time. I don't know if you knew that that was a diss track, but it is.
That kind of sounds like it.
Yeah, no, we'll get to the guy who it's a diss about, and then I'll talk about it. But they just, again, another band that has never missed, and unfortunately had to end too soon because Ronnie Van Zant, the lead singer, died in a fucking plane crash in the 80s.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite things about them too, when they'd be in the studio, Ronnie Van Zant never wrote down lyrics. He would just sing, and that would be the lyrics. And they never wrote down guitar riffs. So all the guitar that was played would just be they would come up with it on the spot and then memorize it. And they had 5, 6 different guitarists throughout. And Freebird, specifically, greatest guitar solo of all time. That's 2 guitars playing simultaneously, sounding like one guitar for 8 minutes, and it is a thing of beauty. All right, you can go ahead with your least favorites.
I only got 4, so I think you should go first.
All right. So I have honorable mentions, and it's not because I don't like their music. It's Michael Jackson and Chris Brown for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
At number 5, I have the Insane Clown Posse. I just hate them. I just hate them. Their music is shit. Their gimmick is shit. Everything about them is shit. Number 4, I have R. Kelly for obvious reasons. He has 2 good songs and is also a monster. At number 3, I have Neil Young, who is the guy that Leonard Skynyrd wrote Sweet Home Alabama about. Basically, he was a Canadian, and he wrote songs talking about how racist and bullshit Alabama was in the 70s. So Leonard Skynyrd was like, no, you got it all wrong. We got a racist governor, but actually the people of Alabama are very against him and like people. And they wrote one of the greatest songs of all time that became one of the greatest diss tracks of all time. And number 2, I have Yoko Ono, because when she sings, it sounds like a cat being beat with a stick. And at number 1, I have the Beatles. Easily the most overrated music act of all time. Their influence is undeniable, but the music itself, overrated. Overrated.
I think they have a solid set of 10 songs that are some of the greatest, but then a lot of their other songs are not that it.
They have a couple songs that are okay.
I think a lot of their songs do go on for too long. Hey Jude is 3 minutes of screaming.
They go on too long. John Lennon's a piece of shit. They don't, it just doesn't hold up to today's standards. That's another thing. I have a hard time separating people from their music, which is ironic when you look at the rappers I like Eminem, who openly beat his wife, but they beat each other, so it's not great, but it's a little more justifiable because they just physically hated each other and would hit each other. But John Lennon was a piece of shit, and their music is mid.
That is such a flaming, scorching take.
I don't care.
I've been reported for that. Okay. So I got Blake Shelton.
You don't like Blake Shelton?
He's just
okay. Okay.
You said you didn't like the Beatles, okay? Number 4, Blake Shelton. He is as I see it, he's the leader. He's the head of my least favorite type of music, which is country. Don't at me, bro. Don't at me.
Overhated. Country is overhated.
I don't think so. I think it's underrated. Underrated. I think there are good, like five good country songs. I couldn't even name them.
Oh.
3. I don't even know if this counts. DJ Khaled.
That counts.
I would count him. Counts?
Sure, it counts. Fuck
So
DJ
bad.
Khaled. Fuck DJ Khaled. I'll let it count.
This might be pretty hot. T Swift after her death. So like love story banger. Anything before like 2017 is really good. But now she's like she was like standing out and now she's like in the fold of like bad modern music.
Listen, you can only break up with so many people and write songs about it before you're the problem. And it looks like there's something wrong with you.
But Love Story, I promise you.
Well,
if you play Love Story, I'm getting down.
Love Story is one of the greatest songs ever written, objectively. Better than anything the Beatles ever put out.
And then number 1, I think I just added this 5 minutes ago, and I'm counting it because he did switch genres. MGK.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Oh my god, emo girl is not objectively the worst song of all time. It's on TikTok right now. It's going crazy on TikTok. Every time I see a video that has that sound under it, I swipe. I cringe because it's so bad.
It's the only thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Who did he sing that song with? The girl that he sings the song with.
I want to say Avril Lavigne, but that doesn't sound right.
That sounds bad for her because
that's what I was saying. Oh, it's Willow Smith. Where the fuck did I get Avril Lavigne? I'm thinking of Skater Boy. That's why. The other emo anthem. I got my songs confused.
You know what doesn't make sense? MGK is dating Megan Fox.
Yeah, who let that happen?
What? No, and the fact he said he fell in love with an emo girl. Megan Fox might be the least emo person in the entire universe. He's lying. He's just not telling the truth.
That's what I'm saying. He's a liar. He's a bad musician. He hit on Eminem's daughter when she was underage. Let's ban him.
God. Ban him. Arrest this man.
Yeah.
Please.
Send him to prison for crimes against humanity. All right, what do you want to do now? You want to do you want to run through video games?
Let's run through video games.
All right, I'll start. So my honorable mentions are Arkham Knight and Far Cry 5. Love Far Cry. Far Cry 5 was the game that got me into it. And Arkham Knight, I mean, I can play as Nightwing. That's all that needs to be said. And number 5, I have COD Modern Warfare, but like the 2019 version, the newer one. I think the newer Captain Price is a badass, one of the best characters in all of gaming, and I really like the multiplayer. Number 4, Minecraft. I only have it so low because I've kind of like fallen out of playing it recently. I don't play it near as much, but like it's Minecraft. And number 3, I have Spiderman PS4, one of the best story-based games I've ever played. Literally, you can play as like any version of Spider-Man, except that Spider-Man is actually a really good Spider-Man, so I always just use his skin because I like being that Spider-Man. And number 2, I have Pokemon Heart Gold. That's the best Pokemon game in my opinion. I love Pokemon. I'm obsessed with Pokemon. It was the first Pokemon game I ever played, and the reason I got it was because there was an advertisement with Dylan and Cole Sprouse advertising the little Pokewalker feature that they added, and I was at Walmart with my mom one night when I was like 6, and I was sitting in the buggy, and my mom was like, if you're good, I'll get you a game for your DS. So I made her get me Heart Gold, and it was like extra expensive because it came with a little Pokewalker, and she got so mad at me. And then fun fact, when I fought Ho-Oh for the first time, the main legendary in that game, I fell asleep mid-fight. So I woke up and my DS was laid beside me on a table, shut off, charging. I was like, oh no. Oh no. And I woke up, I shit you not, Ho-Oh was in my party. My mom took my DS, caught it, saved my game, turned it off and plugged it in for me.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
What a homie. What a homie.
And my favorite game of all time is Red Dead Redemption 2. It just has the best story out of any game I've ever played. I have never cried more playing a video game in my entire life. Arthur Morgan, is another character that fits into like the whole strong-willed good guy type of thing, depending on how you play. But if you don't play it where he's a good man, you're objectively playing it incorrectly.
Exactly. Oh
If
my
if
god.
you play with Arthur as an asshole, if there's not like people mourning his death and you don't get that little cutscene where he's talking to the nun and he's like, "I'm afraid," and she's like, "You're a good man and you're going to go to heaven," then you didn't play the game correctly. You flat out did not play the game correctly if you don't get that cutscene.
Okay. We're gonna talk about more after my part because remember at my first honorable mention of the video, Minecraft, and I blanked. You saw me when you said it. I
Yeah.
was like, "What? Minecraft?" Yeah. There's always that like 2 week span where you're like Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
Like once every year, you're just like, "Oh my god, this is looking kind of good right now." And then you play it for like a month and then you're done. 5. I think one of a lot of my games I like them because of their stories, but this was one of my favorites, and it's very niche. I like doing niche stuff. Firewatch. You know what Firewatch is?
No, I don't.
Well, it's like nobody really knows what it is, but like it's kind of like an indie. It's an indie game, but it reminds me of like a movie.
Is it the one where it's like the forest fire guy? Is that what it is? I do know what that is. I do know what that is. That game is really good.
Hank and Delilah are two of my favorite characters. I love their relationship throughout that entire game.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sad when you go, that spoilers again, but like you go to Delilah's watchtower and she's not there. And you're like, "Oh, damn." Because I was like, I really want them to be together, but it's like really messed up. My friends hate it. A lot of people hate the game because it's like the ending is such a letdown. But I think that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Number 4, Black Ops 2.
Understandable.
Peak of COD, I think. Other than like Modern Warfare, but like whatever.
MW3 is still the best COD game multiplayer in my opinion, but MW3, Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah, I agree with that. Black Ops 2. Amazing. Zombies is incredible. Nostalgia for that game is insane for me. I played so much Zombies when I was a kid. Number 3, Halo Reach. Best Halo game. What?
Nothing.
What
just keep going.
Best Halo game, I think, by far. Other than like Halo Infinite, which I think is underrated. But Halo Reach, the story is so good. The campaign is like top 3 campaigns of all time, I think. At number 2, I have the Walking Dead Telltale games.
Oh, yep. Those are great. Those are incredible.
Fire. So good. Especially the characters are just so rich.
Anything with The Walking Dead is always going to have great characters. Anything.
Exactly. I love Lee, Clementine. It's one of the only series of games where I think every game got better as it went.
Yeah.
Because like the first game's good. I literally can't rank them because of how good the characters are. Because like the first game's like not as good as the later games, but Lee makes the game 40 times better.
Yeah.
It's just
Lee and Kenny. Don't forget about Kenny. Kenny was amazing.
Kenny's a banger. Kenny's oh my god.
Kenny was my favorite.
Yeah.
My little sister just got into all of that, so I'm like real fresh on it right now because she's been watching Let's Plays of it and keeps coming in to remind me of everything.
It's so good. It's like literally they're so by the way, this is for the entire series of games.
Yeah.
That I'm cheating.
Yeah.
But like the whole story is just so good. And it's so heartbreaking to see what happens throughout the entire thing. This is so good. And then at number 1, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody that would not put Red Dead Redemption 2 at number 1 for their favorite game.
Yes, sir.
So good. The gameplay is so good. Story is so good. The characters, some of the best characters anywhere. Arthur, incredible. Like you said, if you don't play him like a good person, what are you doing? I love specifically like Sadie, amazing.
Yes.
Charles, amazing. Lenny,
Oh my god, dude.
That is
They
his
cheated him.
death
He
is
got
done
cheated.
so well. It's done so
It's
well though,
done well,
because
but I
like
feel like he got cheated.
he definitely did. He should have lived. I wanted him to live
Yeah,
so bad.
but like my thing is with his death is they just glossed over it. Like it just kind of happens. They're like we got to keep moving. Like I get that you're gonna have deaths like that. Like in that situation, that's got to happen. But like they never really like backtracked on it. Like Arthur mentions it once or twice.
Yeah.
But like,
I think
oh
I
my
think that
god.
happens just because at that point they all lose their minds.
Hmm.
Like, and Arthur's the only one that's still sane.
Yeah, and I've replayed that mission so many. Like when it first happened, I thought it was like a quick time event where you have to
Yeah.
shoot them. So literally, I sat there for like an hour just replaying that mission over and over again to try to save Lenny. And then eventually, I looked it up and found out you can't. And Sean's death got me bad too. That poor fucking kid. He's like bragging, then just like
Yeah.
like
Turns around, his head's gone.
yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, every death is done so well in that game. Because like Kieran's death, something I didn't even care about. His head is gone.
Yeah.
He rides into camp.
Hmm.
Oh my god. Oh my god. And like thinking about Arthur near the end of that game,
Hmm.
it's so sad. It's so sad.
And
It's
then
so good.
killing Micah is the most satisfying moment in any video game ever. That man is the only thing I hate more than LeBron James.
The only thing.
Micah is the worst. I mean, beautifully written. Like he's written as the perfect villain, but he's the
Yeah.
biggest piece of shit in any game ever. And like the slow gaslighting that goes on with him and Dutch is great. And you see Dutch's slow descent into madness. And then like when he leaves John behind on the train car at the very end.
So good. So good.
Everything about that game is just perfection.
Beautiful. It looks amazing too. The graphics are insane.
Yeah, the graphics are incredible. And I remember when that game first came out, people were making such a big deal about the fact that like when you ride your horse in cold temperatures, its balls will shrivel up. Which like is the goofiest little detail, but you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Like they did that because they wanted to be realistic, which I understand. But an animator, someone who works on that team, or programmer rather, someone that works on that team, had to make a code with physics that when a temperature reaches a certain point, horses' balls have to shrivel. like it's again great attention to detail, but it's just funny to me that was someone's job for probably like a week or multiple weeks to come up with that.
And they had a manager like over their head.
Yeah,
like, gotta get those balls done, man.
Great shrivel right there. That's just. But yeah, everything, the customization in that game is great. The online multiplayer is underrated. I mean, it's not perfect. It's no Grand Theft Auto, but like it's still really good. I should have put GTA on my fucking top 5. I love GTA. I don't know. Rockstar just doesn't miss.
Yeah,
they simply don't miss. All right, you want me to do my least favorites first here?
Yeah.
So
Go for it.
I have an honorable mention with Madden and NBA 2K. Because I love those games. They're my favorite games, but they're also my least favorite. Because Madden is broken. It's supposed to be simulation football. It isn't. NBA 2K playing online is broken. Nothing works. Nothing makes sense. I play them all the time. I have an addiction to them, but I hate them. Number 5, I have FIFA, just because I don't like soccer. I played it. Someone got it. Like I got it for my birthday, like in 8th grade, and I tried to play it and hated it. Number 4, I have Fall Guys. Never got into it. The game was goofy. Number 3, I have Marvel's The Avengers, which is just a crime against the Avengers. Number 2, I have Call of Duty Black Ops 4. It was just my least favorite Call of Duty game. It's not as good as Ghosts or Advanced Warfare. I don't care what anyone says. Those games are heavily underrated.
Yeah.
And number 1, I cheated as well. This is a full series. It's not just one game. It's the entirety of the Halo franchise.
Surprise, man. Jesus.
I do not like Halo at all.
Why?
I tried to play it when I was little. When I first got my Xbox 360, my cousin had just gotten like his Xbox One. So he gave me all of his old games. No, he didn't just get his Xbox One, but he did something to where he gave me all of his old games, and a bunch of them were the Halo games. And I remember playing them and just being bored out of my mind the entire time. I didn't like the multiplayer. I couldn't get into the story. I mean, I don't think it's like objectively the worst game ever or anything, but for me, I just hated it. It's like one of the few games that I have an objectively bad experience with.
Yeah. Did you play Halo Reach though? It's the thing.
I think Halo Reach, I don't think I played. No.
I promise you. Like Halo Reach is boring at the beginning, but it gets heavy. It gets so good.
Oh no, I specifically remember playing Halo 3 was the main one, and I hated every second of it.
Yeah, I think that the Master Chief Halo games might be a little overrated just because of how old they are. And
Are they not all about Master Chief?
No.
I haven't played every single one.
ODST and then Halo Reach is about Noble, which is why I love it so much, because it's about a whole team of people.
See, I like that better. That gives me like Clone Wars vibes right there.
Exactly. Oh my god, it's so good. Like, seriously, recommend playing.
We'll have to try it out then, because, like I said, the ones I played had Master Chief in them, and I hated all of them.
Yeah. I understand. Mine, at number 5, Fortnite right now. Like, Fortnite is, like, very good. Very good game, especially in, like, 2018, when it was, like, first starting up. I have so many good memories, but it seems like Fortnite just wants their game to be bad at this point.
Why's that?
What? That's like the reason that Fortnite is a game is because of its building.
Nope, I like it without the building. I'm not going to lie to you. I like it without the building.
Yeah, objectively, maybe that's a good thing because, like, it's more like other shooters now. But, like, the whole attraction of Fortnite was the building. And I think it would be very good for Fortnite to go back to how it was.
I'm pretty sure it was a temporary thing. Like, I think...
Yeah, it's for the season, I think.
I don't think it was even for the full season. I think it was just, like, all of Fortnite was like that for a little bit, and then they just made a separate mode that's no building, which I like it better, but that's just because I suck and can't build. I only like it because I'm bad at the game. I can shoot people all day, but I suck at building.
Yeah, and the other reason that I hate it is because people are just so good at it now.
Yeah.
Like, that is the main reason why Fortnite sucks, is because people have spent so much time just working on it, no lifing it, basically. At 4, I have Rainbow Six Siege. I hate it because my friends make me play it. I hate it because when I do play it with them, it's awful. It's so bad. It's way too serious for me, in my opinion. At number 3, I have any new COD. And when I say that, I mean Cold War and Vanguard.
I liked Cold War. I liked the story, at least.
Yeah, the campaign and zombies were really good.
Yeah.
But the multiplayer was so bad. And I was like, oh, Vanguard's going to fix that because all they have to worry about is the multiplayer. No, Vanguard's worse.
Story was really good for Vanguard, too. That's how I quantify COD games, is their story, not their multiplayer, because I care more about the campaign.
Yeah. At number 2, I have any newer Madden.
Yeah.
Just because I play them a lot, but I play offline, and just the fact that it's so unrealistic, it's crazy.
Trying to play online is hell on earth, and trying to play offline, if you don't have the right sliders, it's again hell on earth, because you either have quarterbacks with fucking pinpoint accuracy going 30-30, or if you try to play too easy, you're getting 30 interceptions in a game, and that's just not fun to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's so bad that you have to tweak the game to make it realistic.
Yeah, and that should not happen at all, ever. And then at number 1, I have FIFA. And I play it more than you do, and I like it. I don't like it more than you do. It's so dumb sometimes. It seems like it never does what you want it to do. Like, if you go to pass with somebody, it's like a 50% chance that you'll pass with that person. And maybe that's just because I'm bad. But, like, come on now. Sometimes it's the game's fault. It's the same type of thing where it seems like they don't, like, EA does not want their game to be as good as it can be. And that's the issue with games today. It's just like the corporations want the games to make the most money. And not,
I was going to say, they don't give a shit about anything with microtransactions. That's the problem with Madden and 2K, too.
Exactly. And that's why, like, Red Dead Redemption is so good, because the company actually cares about what it's putting out.
Mm-hmm. And I haven't played it, but a game like Elden Ring that literally has 0 microtransactions in it and is supposed to be really good. Like that's
Yeah.
a thing of the past, unfortunately. I'm never going to play Elden Ring. Those games scare me. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm an angry person. I would probably murder somebody if I tried to play Elden Ring. I said the other
Facts.
day, I
Me
can't
too.
remember who I was talking to. I was like, I would get Elden Ring, but I'm scared to play it. And they're like, oh, it's not that scary. The monsters aren't that bad. And I was like, no, you don't get it. I'm going to commit murder on the first boss because I will be bad at it. And like, I know that game is all like memorizing patterns and like trying
Yeah.
to remember how the bosses move and shit. I can't do that. I got a million things going on up here. I can't remember how a fucking boss is going to move. If I can't sit and shoot it or slash it or whatever and have it die without having to memorize its exact movements, I'm never going to succeed. All right, you want to get into movies now?
Yeah.
I'll let
Let's
you go
for it.
first.
Number 5, I have The Batman.
Okay.
We talked about it before. I think it's one of the most perfect movies ever made
Mm-hmm.
for what it was asked to do, and I asked a lot of it. Number 4, I have Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
Genuinely think it's underrated. It's so good. I cry every time I watch Order 66, and I get chills every time Obi-Wan and Anakin fight. Number 3 is No Way Home. I'm a Spider-Man fan,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like Spider-Man's Avengers, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And number 2, I have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
W movie. So
W
good.
movie. So excited for the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Genuinely, I think I said this. I may have been lying before about my favorite scene of Spider-Man, but the leap of faith, absolutely brilliant.
Mm-hmm. I think earlier you said it was your favorite Peter Parker scene, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
So it would still hold up.
yeah,
But yeah, the leap of
that's my
faith is
favorite
like the
Miles
best
scene.
Spider-Man scene. It's so good. It's so
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah. And then at number 1, I have another niche pick: Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind,
You've talked
starring
about
Jim
this movie
Carrey.
so much. I need to watch it. I've heard you talk
You
about it
need you
before.
You do, but you need to go into it expecting nothing that Jim Carrey has ever done before.
Did you
I
see
think he
he's ready to
does.
quit acting? Unrelated? Yeah. He said Sonic 2 might be his last movie.
What?
Yeah.
Sonic 2 would be the last movie you do? Are you kidding
He
me?
said he's considering it, yeah.
I'm in shambles. That's so bad. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh my god.
No, what were
Oh
you
my
gonna
god.
say? Go ahead, back to what you were saying.
Yeah. He gives like an Oscar-worthy performance in that
Mm-hmm.
movie. The concept is so good. I've watched it 20 times, and I can still watch it and be like, oh my god, I've never seen this before. This is so much cooler than I thought it was before.
Understandable. All right. So I have 2 honorable mentions. Into the Spider-Verse. You can't go wrong. Spider-Man, Jake Johnson, Haley Steinfeld. You can't go. Nick Cage is in it too. John Mulaney. You can't go
Yeah.
wrong. You just can't go wrong. And Shamik Moore is like the perfect Miles Morales. And then my other honorable mention is Teen Titans: The Judas Contract, which is like the best Teen Titans movie. It's part of the DC animated movie universe, which is incredible in its own right, and that's my favorite movie out of that. Number 5, I have The Lion King, the original one, the real one.
Everyone.
There is not a single character in fiction I relate to more than Pumbaa. He is my spirit animal in my spirit existence. Um, you weren't there when I auditioned for Pumbaa in middle school, were you?
No.
Me?
I was in 5th grade,
Yeah,
so
yeah, because that was my 7th grade year. I couldn't remember if it was 7th or 8th grade. Okay. So in 7th grade, I auditioned for Pumbaa, and I thought me and Wyatt Gray were like a lock to get Pumbaa and Simone, and then Erica and Sam got him. Which I mean, understandably so. They're way better than we were, but like that was like my first heartbreak with theater was not getting Pumbaa. I didn't even get cast because I think on my little sheet I was like I want to be Pumbaa or nothing else. Like a little asshole.
Oh,
Yeah, like a little
God.
asshole. Yeah. Number 4, I have the first Avenger, Captain America. It's his movie. It's incredible. Number 3, Revenge of the Sith, best Star Wars movie by far. It's incredible. Like you said, it's just perfect. It is literal like poetry in motion. It feels
Yeah,
like in terms of a Star Wars movie.
it, it's good Shakespeare, basically.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, literally, it feels like a Shakespearean tragedy. The fall of Anakin Skywalker to the dark side is one of the greatest tragic hero stories ever. And I don't care what anyone says. Star Wars is Anakin's story, not Luke's story, and we'll get to that more here in a couple minutes. Number 2, I have The Waterboy. Favorite Adam Sandler movie. I love Adam Sandler. It's Adam Sandler in football, and he's just beating the shit out of people at linebacker. What's not to love? And at number 1, mine's a little bit of a niche pick as well. I have The Edge of 17. Have you ever seen that movie?
I've heard of it before, I think.
It's starring Haley Steinfeld.
Uh,
And it's just like a really good coming of age movie. She plays this girl whose dad died, and she's like really struggling, and her like when I say struggling, just like struggling with being a teenager and whatnot, not having him there, and she kind of has a weird relationship with her mom, and her best friend starts dating her brother, and that pisses her off, and her best friend ends up being her asshole history teacher, who's played by Woody Harrelson, who is fucking incredible in that movie. It's just such a good little wholesome coming of age movie, and I love it.
all right. Four. I have four. For
Right.
my
Least favorite, right?
I've never really disliked any movies, so it was really hard for me to find stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
My number 4, I have Up. Yeah. Well, first of all, remember after Hairspray when we were doing
Yeah,
the
that's why I'm
ranking them?
insulted. Because according to Ethan, I'm in that movie.
Because you're whatever his name is. What's his name?
Russell.
You're Russell.
Yeah, do you remember when we were like all giving our reasoning and Ethan was like, our castmate David is in the movie.
No, I hate it because I think it's so overrated.
I don't
Like
think it's overrated.
first 10 minutes of it are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But then like the rest of the movie is mid to bad.
What?
Yeah.
That's more blasphemous than me saying the Beatles are overrated.
I don't think that's more blasphemous.
That is definitely more blasphemous.
I think that everything having to do with his wife is amazing, but everything else is annoying or bad.
You're not rocking with Russell? Or Kevin? Or
I'm
Doug?
rocking with Russell. I'm not rocking with Doug. I'm not rocking with Doug. Or Kevin.
What?
Or Kevin. Neither of them.
What the hell is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
This is going to be even worse then. Number 3.
Hold on. We'll get to that in a minute. Have you seen Doug Days on Disney Plus?
No.
It's just Doug, and it's awesome. He's just a funny little dog. You don't like a funny little dog? You're telling me you don't like funny little dogs?
From my memory, I do not like Funny Little Dog.
All right, continue with your blasphemy. You don't like Cars either?
The Cars franchise, and this is because of a debate that me and my friends had where they said that it's the best Pixar movie.
Okay, it's definitely not, but
exactly,
it's still really good.
I think genuinely one of the coolest things I've seen is when Mac is driving and falling asleep and the cars are around him. It's the chillest scene ever. Mm-hmm. But I think as a whole, like Cars 1's good, but Cars 2 and Cars 3 are god awful.
That's why we pretend they don't exist.
Well,
the story stops after Cars.
I think instead of the Cars franchise, I should have said Cars 2 and 3.
Okay, don't bring Cars down with those monstrosities.
That is better. Yeah,
it exists on its own island. Okay, I'm not mad then, because Cars 2 and 3 are mid to bad at best.
Mid to bad. Cars 3 is mid to bad. Cars 2 is just god awful. Cars 2 is like what?
I think Cars 3 is worse, personally.
I think Cars 2 is just it's so out of left field, way too out of left field.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like that for that reason because it makes no sense. Like, okay, you got to be able to appreciate the fact that it's just a goofy little spy thriller for no reason.
I do, but like
it's not a good movie. It's not a good movie at all.
It should have been a short film.
I don't know. I like that it's a full-fledged movie. Like, it's not a good movie, but its existence I enjoy because it's just goofy.
Yeah.
To go from race car man to, oh, look, now his best friend's a fucking international spy. Larry the Cable Guy as a tow truck is an international spy.
At number 2, I have Avatar: The Last Airbender, the movie.
I don't remember the movie. I only remember watching the show as a kid.
Good. I love Avatar.
Yeah.
Love the show. The movie is so... Okay, this is not a hot take whatsoever. Everyone knows that this movie is so bad. But it, like, if you've watched the show, it hits extra hard.
Wait, isn't the movie live action and not animation? Or am I thinking? Okay, yeah, then I do remember that movie, and that movie was god-awful.
Literally, there's no redeeming features about the movie at all. Like, usually in a movie, I'm like even in, like, the Cars franchise or Up, there's one thing, at least one thing that can save the movie. But there's nothing for Avatar. And then at number 1, we talked about this earlier, Morbius.
Yeah.
Dear God, there's so many moments when I was like, oh, please say this because I'm going to hate you even more. And they say it. Like the I'm Venom line, I was like, if they say that, because it's in the trailer, if they say that, I'm leaving the theater. And then he said it. And I was like, oh, my God.
And didn't they lie about the Michael Keaton Vulture thing? Isn't that just the post-credit scene?
Yeah, it is. And that is so dumb. Oh my God. Okay, let me collect myself here. The first line of the movie is, oh my God, do you need a doctor? I am a doctor.
Bro, I would have walked out.
Exactly. It's so
I would have walked out.
Oh my! Literally every line that's supposed to hit is stupid, and the after credit scene is so dumb because like you get Michael Keaton, you pay Michael Keaton to come on for this after credit scene, and then he says maybe the 2 dumbest lines I've ever heard in my entire life. He says, "Oh, maybe the food's good in this joint," because he goes from one prison to the other prison in the different reality. Bad line. Don't say joint in a movie. Bad. And then he comes and he meets Morbius and he's like, hey, I don't know why I'm here, but like, I'm thinking it has something to do with Spider-Man. We should team up, maybe do some good. And then Morbius is like, yeah, man, sure. Even though Morbius doesn't know who the F Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
He's not mentioned a single time in the movie. And he's like, yeah, I hate Spider-Man. And also, how does the Vulture even begin to think that the reason he's in a different reality is because this high school student is Spider-Man? What are you talking about? The movie makes no sense. The freaking CGI is terrible. The fights are awful. Like, the only good scene, once again, there's one redeeming quality, but what makes it so bad is because the rest of it's so bad. The one good scene is the scene where he discovers that he can use echolocation and he closes his eyes and catches the ball. Because like that's the only time the effects are good. But like everything else about the movie's bad. Even people saying that whoever the actor for Doctor Who is, I don't even know his name. I should definitely know his name, but I don't.
I don't either.
But like people are saying that his performance is good. It's not. It's bad. Everything about the movie is bad. I swear.
Yeah. First of all, okay, I haven't seen it, like I said. But it makes no sense that the Vulture got pulled in. Because the only people that should have been cast out were the people from other realities, so I don't understand how he got chucked to a different one. And doesn't he just magically have his Vulture suit in this new reality? That makes no sense. And unless there's, maybe we're getting lucky and they're setting up Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield, which would be the only way to redeem this.
Yeah.
Then it makes no sense, but I don't think they're going to do that.
The thing is, that would make the Andrew Garfield 3 worse. Because then you would have Michael Morbius, who is stupid as hell.
Yeah, but you get to watch Spider-Man beat the shit out of him without pulling his punches.
Now you got me.
Yeah.
Now you have me intrigued.
Yeah.
I would love to see that, actually. Let's do that. Let's do that movie.
Yeah, because Andrew said in No Way Home he stopped pulling his punches. So we'd get to see that.
I want to see that, actually.
All right. Unrelated, or not unrelated, but back to Avatar. You said there was nothing redeeming, so I was like, Appa has to be redeeming. Because it's Appa. They ruined him. They massacred my boy.
Yeah.
They ruined Appa. How do you fuck up Appa?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. All right,
It looks so different. It's so bad.
Yeah, he looked horrible from what I just saw. He doesn't have his normal flowy fur. He just looks like normal. I don't know. It's weird. Some things just shouldn't be brought into live action, and Appa was one of them because you can't make that look normal in live action. But in animation, it's the cutest thing ever, and I love Appa. So, my least favorites. I'm kind of I don't want to put it in my top 5 because I haven't actually seen it, so I'm going to call it an honorable mention. But I have Trainwreck because Amy Schumer and LeBron James in the same movie cannot be good. I haven't seen it. I refuse to watch it. But you put LeBron James, who cannot act, and Amy Schumer, who is Amy Schumer, in the same movie, there was no way to make that decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my actual top 5, at number 5, I have the Minions. At number 4, I have Suicide Squad. Not The Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad is a masterpiece. 2016 Suicide Squad with Jared Leto Joker. I'm noticing a pattern now. I just realized that I'm noticing a pattern. That movie is awful. I love Will Smith, but him on the helicopter going, "What are we, some kind of Suicide Squad?" is the worst written line of dialogue in any movie ever. It's so bad. The only redeeming parts of that movie are Will Smith, Rick Flag, and Harley Quinn. Those are the only 3 redeeming parts of that movie. They butcher Killer Croc. They make him awful. Who else was even in that movie? Oh, the main villain, Enchantress. They did her horribly. She sucked. I still hate Jared Leto as the Joker. It's like if 6ix9ine was the Joker, and I hate it. And who else was in that? El Diablo was okay. I didn't hate him in that movie, but for the most, it was just a bad movie. Number 3, I have Batman and Robin. They butcher Nightwing. Absolutely butcher him. They just make him a whiny little bitch, and I hate it. Literally the whole movie, he's just sitting there and whining. I think we talked about this before when I was talking about how we haven't had a real live-action Nightwing because all the ones they've had have sucked except for Burt Ward back in the 60s.
Yeah.
Number 2, I have Space Jam 2. Space Jam is a masterpiece. No, Space Jam is a masterpiece. I love Space Jam. But you put LeBron James, who can't act, in a shitty plot that's just basically a giant advertisement for Warner Brothers. That's all that movie is. It's just bad. It's just bad.
It existed.
If you've seen the movie, it's just bad. And at number 1, I have The Last Jedi. Just butcher Luke. And I know some people...
him.
Yeah, some people try to justify it, and they're like, well, Luke's been through this and that, and maybe that would create or cause him to be this thing. Luke's not a normal person. He's not supposed to process things like other people are. He has the strongest will in all of fiction. He would not turn into a bitter dick if things didn't go his way. I think there are very few characters that cannot have their will broken. It should be Luke Skywalker, Dick Grayson, and Clark Kent, and Captain America. Those 4 characters should never be able to have broken wills. That is their big thing. And if you do that, you are butchering the character and doing the character dirty and going against everything the character stands for, in my opinion. And not only that, but you have the shitty... Does The Last Jedi have the casino thing in it, or is that a different one?
Yeah.
The casino, biggest waste of time in any movie ever. All of that is bad. Rose is a terrible character, and her screwing Finn out of like his big hero moment is the dumbest thing in the world because you don't fight them with fighting, you fight them with love, or whatever the fuck she says is one of the other dumbest lines in all of fiction. And
No,
then
we like talking about The Last Jedi. We need like a whole episode about
yeah,
that because
it's
there's
just
so much.
it's so broken. It's such a bad movie.
Yeah, like with Luke, the thing that would have happened after Kylo Ren runs away is that he would have chased after him. He wouldn't have stopped and
Mm-hmm.
like become this secluded old man. He would have been like, "Oh, I need to save him. I need to
Yeah, he would have traveled
make
the
sure
galaxy until he found him to try to bring him back.
exactly because he
He
did that with his
Yeah,
father.
I was gonna
Like
say he
what?
brought Darth Vader back. Brought Darth Vader back. Why wouldn't he be able to do it with Kylo Ren? That makes no sense.
Yeah. Do you want to do musicals now?
Yeah, we can. You want me to start?
Okay. Yeah, go for it, man.
All right. So I have my honorable mentions with Dear Evan Hansen and In the Heights. Dear Evan Hansen would be higher, but the more I think about it, the more I realize the story is just not that great. Because like Evan's an objectively terrible person, and they try to paint him as like a decent kid who made a mistake. No, he's a gaslighting, manipulative piece of shit human. Objectively, that's what he is. And then I
Yeah.
have In the Heights is my other one. I love In the Heights. Just anything made by Lin-Manuel Miranda is incredible. The music is amazing. The One of my favorite things from that musical is the opening, and it starts out with the dun 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 like that. They pulled that. It's I forget what it's called, but it's like a very popular Hispanic like thing. I don't even know what you'd call it. I don't know music theory. I don't know what you'd call it, but like just that start, and it's from like it was also in West Side Story. That was one of the first
Yeah.
big. It's in the song that all the girls sing where they're like happy to be in America and the boys are like not happy to be in America or whatever. I can't remember the name of that song. I don't like West Side Story that
America?
much. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. But him pulling that and then I like the newer version better because I like Lynn as the Piragua guy and
Yeah.
Anthony Ramos and Corey Hawkins. It's just such a good cast for the new one.
Yeah.
But my top five are Newsies at number five. Again, one of just the music's perfect. The story's amazing. I'm a history buff. I love history, so the Newsboy strike is a great topic, and it has like the baritone anthem, the baritone bar with Santa Fe. Like if you're a baritone and you can't sing that, you need to get on it. Number four, I have Twelfth Night, which we know, but is kind of like under the radar because we were both going to be in it. Toby might be my favorite character in any musical ever, which is an extremely biased opinion, but
Gotta be, yeah.
understandably so. Number three, I have Tick Tick Boom, Andrew Garfield, and that is perfection. I don't know the original that well, but literally, he was perfection. That's one of the best portrayals of a real person in a musical ever. Number two, I have Jersey Boys. I love Frankie Valli. I love the Four Seasons, and an entire musical just of their music with their story of their lives is incredible. And at number one, I have Hamilton. It's the reason I like musicals. It's the reason I like theater. I mean, I understand that people that like it are weird, but I'm not one of those people. I don't like try to say that Thomas Jefferson's pansexual and shit like that because that's a legitimate thing. The
Yeah.
people who like Hamilton are scary, really scary. But I like rap. I like theater. It kind of blends together, and it's the reason I like it or like theater as a whole. So
Yeah. Okay. My honorable mention for this is Tick Tick Boom.
mhm.
Number five, I have Fiddler on the Roof.
Okay.
I love the music. It's my favorite. Is it called Golden Age? Golden
I
Age musical?
think I don't know. I don't like that
Favorite.
era of musicals, so I don't know what it's called.
Well, yeah, but like, there's so much good in it. I think it's like I'm like a bass baritone singer, so
Mm-hmm.
like Rev Tevye is like my dad. I
Mm-hmm.
love him so much. I love his conflict. I love the ending of the movie. My favorite part of it is movie, ending of the musical. And I love the bottle dance. The bottle
Yeah,
dance is absolutely lit. It is so lit. When it gets slow and they start like doing the knee slide thing, that might be my favorite moment in theater, just because of how dope it is.
understandable.
At 4, Hamilton. I did love it. It was at number 2 at some point in this list, but then I was like starting to think about it. Every song in it is a banger.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many amazing moments. It's so good. What is there's everything that can be said about it has already been said a
Yeah,
billion times.
that's the only downfall of Hamilton is it's kind of overrated at this point.
Yeah,
But
but
I
it
personally
deserves
think
it.
it's the greatest musical ever written. Like, I think Lin-Manuel Miranda is a fucking genius.
I would agree with that. At number 3, I have Singing in the Rain.
Okay.
A little bit biased, but the movie is something that I can just sit down, watch, not laugh, not cry, but I will just smile for an hour and a half because of that movie. And I think Gene Kelly is an enchanting singer and dancer. So when I watch stuff like that, it's just like I'm mesmerized by how he moves and how he sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then at number 2, I have Jekyll and Hyde.
Interesting. Okay.
Abigail made me listen to it recently. Oh my God. The soundtrack is so good. The character is so good. Jekyll
Mm-hmm.
and Hyde. You have to be so talented to be that guy.
Yeah.
And it's so dramatic. I love the drama of it. It's like most plays are like, oh, this high note is what gets you, or like this dance is what is like super cool about it. It's just the characters, the acting that goes into being these
Mm-hmm.
characters is so cool. And then at number 1, contrary to what you were saying, is Dear Evan
I know
Hansen.
you love it.
I love it. I do agree that it does make excuses, and it is very obvious for in the movie that came out. They cut the
Awesome.
one song that I think calls out Evan. It's Good for You. It's a
Yeah.
song
Yeah.
that like
Listen, that movie is a monstrosity.
it's so bad.
My favorite character in Dear Evan Hansen is Jared. And they changed Jared. I actually kind of like how they changed Jared. I thought they did well. Because, I'm when it comes to pre-established fiction and like adapting things, I'm not a big fan of a lot of change. But if you can make it work, or it's something that doesn't go against the material, then it's fine. Like Jared
Yeah.
being written as a sassy little gay kid makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I thought that was a good change. Um, that was like the one good redeeming part of that movie. Like getting rid of "Good for You" is just criminal. It's absolutely criminal.
I think it is the best song on the show.
Didn't they also get
Genuinely.
rid of "To Break in a Glove"? Wasn't that
Yeah.
also cut? That's another one of the best songs in the whole show.
Yeah. So they basically took out the best part of it is that Evan does this and then he gets called out on it and then he
Mm,
struggles to get back. He is a bad person, but
yeah,
like he's still a kid. Like and he has this anxiety and there's always the fact that like he's in the gray area. Well, not in the gray area, but like my feelings towards it are that I'm in the gray area cuz like I can see why he would do this, but he's also a piece of crap for doing it. And that's just everything about that it's sad,
yeah,
it's tragic, it's messed up in like the perfect way. It's another super hard role to do that I wish
yeah,
that he could play.
absolutely.
It's but like yeah, like they butchered the movie
Yeah, I was
so
gonna say
bad.
the movie kind of soured my opinion on it. Like Ben Platt, I understand he's the perfect guy to play Evan, but him playing him in the movie made no sense. He looks
Yeah, he
like a
looked
30-year
bad.
old man amongst teenagers.
Yeah.
It would be like throwing me out there how I look. Like, even though I'm the right age, can't hit the
Yeah.
notes, but like, I couldn't play a convincing high schooler.
Yeah, and he definitely can. We
Yeah.
saw that. I don't like as well. They made Elena a bigger part in the movie
I
to
didn't
give her
hate
like
that
a song
either.
by herself. She's like my least favorite character in the show because there's like 6 characters, but like
Yeah.
she's my least favorite character. And if they were gonna boost somebody's role, they should have boosted like Connor's role because I read the book too. The book is
I've never read the
amazing.
book.
The book is really good because he's like Connor's a ghost and he's following him around and
Mm-hmm.
he's calling out Evan on the crap because he knows what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you're gonna add something if you're gonna add something that is proven to be liked and good,
Yeah.
and they just didn't do that in the movie.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, another thing I don't like about that show is the fact that, oh God, what's the girl's name? The main
Elena?
girl? No, the main
Oh,
one.
Zoe.
Yeah, Zoe, good lord. The fact that she forgives Evan at the end and is like willing to make peace with him, I hate that. That's not real. If someone lied to you and gaslit you about your dead brother, you're not going to be like, well, let's meet at the apple orchard and have a picnic. You're going to be like, no, get the fuck out of my life. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I just feel like, I understand it's fiction, and fiction isn't meant to be realistic, but like, some of that show is just like, and granted, the music's beautiful. It's great musically. It's just, the story has issues.
There's definitely I like the conflicted protagonist angle.
I do too, but you can do it without making the conflicted protagonist an objective piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so my least favorite. As an honorable mention, I have Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, because again, I haven't like actually seen it, but it's bad. The music's bad, the concept's bad. People like physically got hurt performing it. Somebody had to be put in like a full body cast or something because they fell from the rafters. It was bad. At number 5, I have SpongeBob SquarePants, the new musical. I have heard this. I have seen this. And I didn't hate it at first. Hayden had me listen to it, and I was like, oh, okay, interesting. But then the TikToks started. I don't know if you've seen any of them. I get a lot of weird theater TikToks, and it's just like, there's a sound, and it's just like them trying to harmonize the names of the characters. And it'll just be like a bunch of cringy high schoolers. It's like the sound says each character's name one at a time, right? And they'll have one of the people in their show who's playing that character do like a dance, and it turns into just a bunch of little cringy high schoolers in costumes that are shittily made dancing to a really cringy TikTok sound. And then I went back and listened to it, and the music's just really cringy. It's just what you would expect about a musical about SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here's where we get a little controversial. At number 4, I have Phantom.
Yo, that's not controversial at all.
Really? Okay, good. I'm not alone. I don't like Phantom. I thought it was extremely boring. I sat down. I can't remember who made me watch it. It might have been Emily. And I sat down and watched it, and I just hated it. It was just boring. Like, some of the music's okay, but it's just boring. Number 3, I have Cats. Cats is just bad. It's just bad. Like, Memories is a good song, but the rest of the musical is so garbage. It's just so bad. At number 2, I have Across the Universe. It's a musical about the Beatles.
Yeah.
Self-explanatory. And at number 1, I have The Sound of Music.
I was actually, this is so weird, because I was thinking about it earlier. It is such a weird musical.
It's not even the story that gets me. It's just boring. The music, some of it's iconic. Like, I won't lie, the music's iconic. It's kind of like with the Beatles, where the music's iconic and it's inspirational, influential. I get all that, but it doesn't hold up. It's boring. And I just don't like that era of theater. I like modern musical theater more. And that maybe that's just me because I got into it later in life and had different interests. It wasn't like, say, Emily or Erica, for example, where they were like raised on it and they knew all that kind of stuff. For me, I didn't get into it until I was in the 8th grade. And by then I had already like formed opinions and had things that I liked. And Hamilton was my introduction. So going from Hamilton to The Sound of Music is like, oh, okay.
I think generally newer musicals have more to say.
Yeah.
Like, Sound of Music is about Nazis. It's like being a nanny to kids about that with a parent that doesn't like
I don't even know what the message is in The Sound of Music. Like, every other story has a message or a theme. Like Hamilton, it's about your legacy. Dear Evan Hansen, it's about not being a piece of shit. Jersey Boys, it's about like how fame can impact a person or change a person. What is The Sound of Music? Is it just like don't be a Nazi?
So it's like I'm guessing it's like be together as a family, but like the newer stuff is like way more realistic because like Dear Evan Hansen is like struggling with like memory and remembering a loved one in a certain way,
Right.
and then like yes, Hamilton's about legacy. Hadestown is about trust because
Mm-hmm.
in the end, you know what happens. I'm guessing people will know what happens at the end. I can't really describe it. It's so weird, but like
Right.
uh, past musicals have like one thing to say. They're like family, be a family, but like realistically, you know
Mm-hmm.
that.
And also, old musicals were afraid to like take risks. They were all very one dimensional. Like Sondheim is a genius, but he was very plain. He never took
Yeah,
risks. Like you have musicals where the main genre is rock. You have musical where the main genre is rap. You have musicals with like non-traditional leads. Like back in the day, all your musicals were white men and white women. Now you have LGBT people of different races, different ethnicities. Like there's just so much more diversity and risk taking, and like you said, there's a lot more to say in modern theater and modern musicals. Whereas back then, it was just random white guy and or white woman probably sings about being lonely and then ends up not being lonely at the very end. Although there are
yeah,
exceptions, like I really like Guys and Dolls. Guys and Dolls is a great story, but like other than that, it's just so plain. Like the Sound of
yeah,
Music is just so plain. And I know there are people out there that if they heard me say that would cut my head off, but like it's
yeah.
just plain.
For me, number 5. I don't even know if this does count, but it's not on Broadway. It's Firebringer from Star Kid.
Oh no, not Star Kid.
Yeah, exactly. I watched it when I was in like 8th grade or 7th grade, and I was like, this might be the worst thing I've watched in my entire life. Um, it's so bad because it's like the character trope that I hate so much. Yeah, it's like an annoying character that like you think is going to change and not be annoying, but they don't change. And like, yeah, that's Star Kid, sure, because it's all comedy, but like this person is incessantly annoying and she does not change for the
Mm-hmm.
entire time. So she's just annoying throughout the entire thing. That's my main gripe. I don't really. The
Yeah.
music's good. The music's great, but
I
that everything else is
I
annoying.
forgot Star Kid existed, so I just want to say real quick, Holy Musical Batman is a monstrosity against Mother Nature. It needs to be fucking wiped from existence.
The fact that they made that
It's
is
one of the
insane.
worst things I've ever seen.
That's probably number 1 for you, man. What are you talking about?
I forgot it existed until just now. And I was like, wait, didn't they do a Batman one? And I looked it up. All I remember
Yeah,
from that is them treating Robin very weirdly. Like, Robin
yeah,
was very much implied to be a young homosexual boy that wanted to be a modern dancer.
yeah.
Oh my god, it's so bad. Star Kid is
Um,
listen. Okay, I directly know there's people. I don't think they watch this that would know about this, but like, if you watch Star Kid as a kid or like in middle school, you're weird. You're one of those weird kids now. You were definitely someone who was like on Tumblr and made fan fictions and did fan arts and all that kind of stuff. And I only know about the Batman one because I looked up Batman and it came up and I was like, oh, Batman, a musical, because I had no idea what Star Kid was. So I was like, oh, maybe this could be interesting. And then I watched it. It was, like I said, a monstrosity. Oh my
yeah.
god, fucking Star Kid. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. At number 4, we have Beetlejuice.
Understandable.
I hate it because the people that watch it, they
Yep.
say that it's the best all the
Yep.
time. I also hate it because of the way it fell apart. Like I hate the drama that was surrounding it because whoever played Winona Ryder's character, I don't even remember who it is. Her name, first
Mm-hmm.
name Sophia, whatever. She like left because she wanted to be this big person, and the show almost shut down because of this person left. I hate her vocals as well, and she's like such a big character in it. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like she's too nasally all the time. And I'm saying this. I should not be able to talk because I'm a high school theater person, but like and she's on Broadway or whatever, but like her voice just annoyed me
Yeah,
so
I mean,
bad.
okay, the thing with that is you can criticize people even if you're not as good as them. You just need to realize like there's a difference between someone like you're comparing her to people on Broadway. You're not comparing
Yeah.
her to yourself. Like it's the same thing with NFL football players. Like that's what I get when I talk shit about Eddie Jackson all the time. One of my favorite examples ever is him stepping out of Saquon Barkley's way to avoid getting hit by him instead of trying to make a tackle. And it's always, well, what would you have done if you were in his situation? It's like, well, if I have been playing football for my entire life and I was an NFL safety with that skill set, I probably would have stayed in front of him. But I don't,
And
so I can't. There's a difference there. That's the thing. I hate when people get on people for criticizing people just because they're an expert. Because if they're an expert, if they're a celebrity, they know they are open to criticism and things of that nature. That's part of the job. That's part of the role.
yeah. At number 3, and this is because it's part of a genre that I hate. It's Mean Girls.
So
It's like the
you don't like movies that get turned into musicals?
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
Oh,
like high school, like dramas that happen in a
oh,
high school about like a set of girls that are the queen of the school, and then they mistreat the main character, and then it happens so much. Like me and Mr. Reed have discussed on multiple occasions how similar Mean Girls, Heathers, Legally Blonde, and Dear Evan Hansen and Be More Chill are.
okay.
All of them are like the same.
Heather slaps though. The
Heather
music in
slaps.
Heather's is incredible.
I cried watching, listening to Dead Girl Walking for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting story. Dead Girl Walking, cried. Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
But like, you have like Legally Blonde, bang. Dear Evan Hansen, bang. Uh, Heather's, bang. Be More Chill, bang. Then Mean Girls, which is bang, but is the worst out of all of them.
Right.
Um,
I thought you were going to
then
go
you
for
have
the angle of movies that get turned into musicals because those are usually bad as well. Like Beetlejuice
Bold.
is another example.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're
Um,
definitely right.
yeah. We discussed that so many times. It's just like, maybe I don't hate it, but it's like the worst of its kind. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then that's going to be such a hot take if a certain group of people see this. But
Send it to that group of people. I want them to see it. Get us more views and comments and
please.
potential death
Uh,
threats.
at number 2, I have Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, it's overrated.
I don't know if it happens in the actual musical because I've never been able to sit through the whole thing, except for the movie that I'm going to talk about. But the fact that Christine kisses the Phantom is weird. Is very
Yeah,
weird.
that is
Ruins
very
the
weird.
entire movie for me. And I hate, oh my God, I despise Andrew Lloyd Webber. He does a thing in his musicals where he says something lyrically out of nowhere just to rhyme it or
Yeah,
to describe a situation. And like, yeah, that's an opera, whatever. But like, you're doing a musical. You don't need to do that. You
right.
can say lines. You don't have to make everything a song. That's just like the most annoying thing in the world to me.
Yeah, valid.
And then at number 1, I have Cats.
Yeah. Okay.
Such a weird. I was like, oh my God, we need to watch this because there's like a certain streaming service where you can watch like the film of a not the movie of it, but like the actual recording of a show on
Mm-hmm.
Broadway. And I was like, oh my God, we have to watch it. It's Cats. Everyone knows Cats. And I watched it and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of good songs. I think Mungo, Jerry, and Rumple Teaser is a banger. Memories is a banger. Mr. Mistopheles is a banger. Rum Tum Tugger is a banger. Absolute slap. But it's so weird. It's
Yeah.
so weird to me. And we did it around here at some point, and I was like, I would not want to do anything less than dress up in a cat
When
suit
did we?
in front of 5
When was
people.
Cats done locally?
It was a CT did it.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I'm staying away from that because
Yeah,
it's so weird. Like
understandably
even
so.
even the characters that I would want to play, like Rum Tum Tugger, is like in like his costume's good, but his song is so weird. It's so weird. It's
Yeah.
just such a weird musical. and that I hate it.
Yeah, see, okay, Cats, Phantom, and Sound of Music are like, in my opinion, three very, very bad musicals. And they're like the three stereotypical ones that everyone goes to. And I hate that that's the rep that theater gets, is like, oh, it's all the boring weirdo fucking songs. Or people go straight to like the weird fandoms of Dear Evan Hansen, Be More Chill, Hamilton. We get a bad rap.
Yeah.
We really do. We're some of the normal ones, and we get a really bad rap, unfortunately. All right, what do we have left? We have Star Wars characters. That's all we have left. It's the last one.
Yep.
All right, I'll start this one. So, my two honorable mentions for my favorite, Boba Fett and Ahsoka. Boba Fett, I wouldn't have had on this before Mando season, what was it, season 2 and Book of Boba Fett, because I always thought Boba Fett sucked. I was always in the impression of like, oh, he has a cool helmet and he does nothing else. And he gets thrown in the Sarlacc pit. Like, he sucked. But then they gave him character and backstory. And like, I knew he had character in like the comics outside of it and the reading outside of it, but I don't care about that. I want to watch the movie. And when they fixed him, Boba Fett became awesome. And then Ahsoka's Ahsoka. I mean, she's just like such a badass. Yeah. She's so cool. But my top 5, number 5, I have R2-D2. Pretty self-explanatory. Number 4, I have Mando. Mando is like the best character in Star Wars right now until the Obi-Wan Kenobi show starts, who I have at number 3. Mando is just awesome. He's so dope. He's so dope. His show is incredible. He's such a badass. Pedro Pascal was the perfect casting.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, at number 3, I have Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's Obi-Wan Kenobi. So many quotable lines, so many great scenes. He is the perfect Jedi, in my opinion. Like, I know Qui-Gon was more so supposed to be, like, framed as the perfect Jedi, but I think it's Obi-Wan. I truly do. Number 2, I have Anakin Skywalker. Like I said, he is Star Wars. He is the face of Star Wars. It is his story. So far, the Skywalker saga was his story. It was about him, and then his lineage and his legacy. He was the chosen one, all that kind of stuff. You know, I love Anakin. Sure, he might be a little whiny bitch in the first 2 movies, but like, it makes sense for his character. I'll defend that till the day I die. Like, the I don't like sand scene, in my opinion, a lot of people hate it. I think it's one of the best written scenes in all of film. Just because it's goofy. It is. On the surface, it's goofy. It's like, why the fuck are you comparing this woman to sand? Do you want to get laid or not? But then, that's a really blunt way to put it. But then you realize, oh, okay, so this kid was abducted from his mother at the age of 9, forced into a cult, was told that having personal connections was not okay, never learned how to love, never learned how to express his emotions, and then he's greeted with this woman who he fell in love with, and now he wants to express that love to her. So what does he do? He tells her that she is nothing like the thing that he hates most in life and compares her to it. So it's goofy, but it makes sense for him. It makes sense to him. He's a whiny little kid, but that's because he never got the chance to mature. He never got the chance to grow. He never got the chance to learn anything because he was taken at the age of 9 when he had already started to develop a little bit, and then they stopped that development.
Yeah.
And that number 1 is Captain Rex. Best written Star Wars character. He's such a badass. It's just, he commands every scene he's in. He is the center of every scene he's in. Whenever he speaks, everyone shuts up to listen. He is the most respected Star Wars character. And how, like, Clone Wars Season 7, the very end, when him and Ahsoka are on the ship and they have to go up against all of his men and he's ready to fight them, that literally brought tears to my eyes. I cried over a clone of a bounty hunter getting ready to kill other clones. That's how well that character is written. And what's his name? The actor. I can't remember the actor's name for the life of me. He's so great at the fact that he's able to give all of the clones distinct voices, even though they are the same character pretty much at their core, is so incredible. And Rex's voice is just so commanding and so perfect. And he's just the perfect Star Wars character, in my opinion.
All right. Number 5. I was like, after watching Clone Wars, I was like, I need a niche clone that I need to love. So I picked number 5, Waxer.
W. I love that.
Waxer
Waxer's
is
awesome.
absolutely banging. I watched that episode and I was like, oh my God, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And then he died.
Mm-hmm.
I looked up his name and I found out he died. And I was like,
when did he die?
He dies on whatever planet it was with like literally the best arc in the show.
Oh, the Umbara arc with
yes,
Palm Krell.
Yeah, he dies because they have the switch when Ponkrell's like, "Oh my God, they're wearing your armor, shoot them," and then he
dies in that.
The 501st shoot him, and he's like, "Oh, they said they were wearing our uniforms," and then he dies, and I was like,
I didn't know that was Waxer. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. That's sad.
That just broke my heart.
Exactly, man. Number 4, I have Mace Windu. I think maybe not the best Jedi, but the dopest.
The most underrated. A lot of people hate Mace Windu for no reason.
Yeah. I hope that he's alive. And I hope they show him in the Obi-Wan series, at least fighting and dying to Darth Vader.
I still have a theory that he's Finn's real dad.
Yeah.
That's still my theory. Like, genuinely speaking, I think he is.
I want a fight between young Darth Vader and the old decrepit Mace Windu.
Yeah, with no hands. Or with robot hands, I suppose.
Yeah, robot hands.
Or he's just running around with his hands behind his back with a lightsaber in his teeth.
That'd be dope too.
And he could do it. Mace Windu would be the one to pull that off.
Yeah. And I'm making this important distinction. Number 3, Darth Vader.
Okay.
Oh my God. He is another dope character in Star Wars. I think without the scene in Rogue One when he kills all of them, he would not be anywhere near this list. But I think that scene is one of the coolest scenes in Star Wars. I think Rogue One is so underrated as a whole, just in general.
I don't like the majority of that movie, but the end scene is one of the coolest scenes in all of Star Wars, if not the coolest scene.
I love how scared they are of him because, I felt that. Like, if I'm there, I'm pooping my pants and killing myself. That's what would happen. At number 2, why I made the distinction is Anakin. I love Anakin. And the reason I do is because I thought he looked like me back when I watched the Clone Wars. When I watched the Clone Wars, in 2010 to 2015, I was like, oh my God, I look exactly like Anakin.
I see it.
And then even in the final season, so dope. Thinking about specifics when he dodges the laser on the bridge.
And then he commits a war crime.
So lit.
No, genuinely. I mean, it's a great scene. I love everything about that.
Yeah. But, he's so cool. I keep forgetting what the arcs are called, but the arc when he meets, literally the embodiment of the Force. And they're
the father, the son, and the daughter.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called either, but I know what you're talking about. And he, sees the future.
Exactly. Oh, my God, it's so dope.
Yeah.
And I love... Specifically in Revenge of the Sith, the reason why I love the movie is because he gets seduced to the dark side by Palpatine, so slowly. Yeah, I love the story of
Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Darth Plagueis the Wise, yeah. And I love that you can see... I love every time that we see Darth Vader's helmet in something when it's Anakin is the character that we're following. I love it every time. Then at number 1, Kit Fisto, my favorite Jedi. I love him so much. I love that he's not the best Jedi.
No, but he's awesome.
He's one of the people that Mace chooses to go with him. He's part of the council. He fights Grievous and basically wins until Grievous runs away.
He'd be fighting with his lightsaber underwater.
Yeah, that's the coolest part as well. Yeah. He's amphibian.
Yeah.
And he can breathe underwater. I wish he was a bigger part of everything. And I'm so sad that he died in Revenge of the Sith because he gets bitched. He gets bitched.
Yeah, him and Plo Koon are in the same kind of tier idea for me because they're both awesome characters that just don't get enough screen time. I like Plo Koon a little bit more though because of his relationship with the clones, which ends up being so tragic because they're like, "We're expendable, sir," and he goes, "Not to me," and then they kill him. They
I
fucking
remember
turn
watching
on him.
Revenge of the Sith being like, who is that guy?
Hmm.
And then I watched the show and I was like, oh.
Yeah, because that's the thing. The prequels would not be good, in my opinion, without the Clone Wars. Like, if you don't have
Yeah.
the Clone Wars to fill in the gaps and give these characters character, like Anakin probably would suck if it wasn't for
Yeah.
the Clone Wars because he's so good in the Clone Wars. He's so perfect. Like,
Yeah.
he's the perfect amount of cocky, young, dope fighter to where it makes sense. Have you ever, you know how they do like book adaptations of each
Yeah.
of the movies? Have you ever seen the council scene where Anakin is told he's not going to be on the council, like written out everything they have him say? Hold on.
No.
While I look this up, go through your 5 least favorite, and then
Number 5. I had to look up his name because I forgot it. Commander Fox.
okay,
Hate that guy. Fives is one of my favorite
yeah,
clones throughout the entire thing. And then he just shoots him. Oh my god. And he's also in the episode when Ahsoka runs away or whatever.
mm-hmm.
He's just like he's literally the character they use to be a like an a-hole. Like
Yeah.
the clone that they use to
He is
be
the
like, oh,
worst
you can't
clone.
do that. Then at 4, Pong Krell.
Yep.
Responsible for my favorite character's death. Responsible for like literally abusing all these clones. I hate him so much. Then at number 3, I have Rose. Once again, probably the worst part of the sequels
Mm-hmm.
of the latter two of the at least the last Jedi, I think. 2, I have Rey. A lot of potential wasted. And then at number 1, very hot take, but I have a reason for it, is Finn.
Okay. Elaborate.
The reason is the trailers of Force Awakens promised basically that he would be a dope character, and I was like, oh my god, let's go. This is going to be so cool. And then they delivered on none of it. So he just represents to me wasted potential, and I hate it.
Understandably so. I can't find this, but basically it has Anakin go full like head ass, cocky, full of himself, like I'm the most powerful one here, and you're not gonna put me on your council. I'm better. Like literally, it's just like I'm better than all of you, and I should be leading this council type of thing. And then Mace Windu is the coldest motherfucker around. He's just like, take a seat. Like even after all that, they don't change that. He's still just take a seat, young Skywalker. That's great. So my 5 least favorite. I have 2 honorable mentions. I have the Martinez sisters, which is self-explanatory. They were the completely worst part of Clone Wars Season 7, and it pisses me off that that happened because instead of them, we could have had an arc where it's Anakin and Obi-Wan going after General Grievous, and you get to hear Anakin's perspective on Ahsoka leaving and how that impacted him. And there's like deleted scenes of it that you can go find where it's like half animated, but instead of that, we got these 2 annoying little fucking sisters who I can't stand. And then I have Ray. I would have put Ray in my top 5, but it's just whatever at this point. I will say though, I saw something the other day about Ray that I really liked, where if Ray's a Skywalker, then Anakin should technically be a Jinn because it's the same thing. Like Qui-Gon Jinn was the one who took in Anakin and was like ready to make him a Jedi. So a Jinn or a Kenobi is what Anakin would be if Rey's a Skywalker. But you don't see him going around calling himself Anakin Kenobi. He's Anakin
Yeah.
Skywalker because that's his name. She is Rey Palpatine. That is her name. But my top 5, I have Ezra at 5. Can't stand Ezra. I hate Rebels. I hate it. That whole show is just a mess. Kanan's cool. I like Kanan. I like the arc with Ahsoka where you get to see Old Man Rex and the Vader fight, and then you get the last duel of Kenobi versus Maul. Like that's cool. I like that. But the rest of the show sucks, and Ezra is a big reason why. And number 4, I have young Boba Fett. When Boba Fett was a little kid, he was an insufferable little shit. I cannot stand him. At number 3, I have Barriss Offee because she was the one who like framed Ahsoka for bombing the Jedi Temple and screwed her over, forced her out of the order. Number 2, I have Rose. I already talked about why she sucked. She just sucks. And number 1, I have Pong Krell. You cannot do what he did to the clones and get away with it. And the way he disrespected Rex just doesn't sit right with me. You know, Rex was like trying to be decent and follow his orders, even though he knew they were wrong. And he still wouldn't give him the decency to at least say his name. He called him whatever his clone designation was.
That's the worst part, that he knows all of their numbers and just calls them by their numbers.
Yeah, the absolute disrespect. The clones are the best part of Star Wars, in my opinion. I love the clones. And to see someone treat them like shit like he did is criminal, and he should be killed with a gun.
Shot in the heart.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to point out, it's 2:30.
Yeah, we've been recording for like almost 3 hours. That's crazy.
Oh, God. This is bad. We're going to get like 3 views on the podcast.
I've never seen anything like it. You can go to the store like I do every fucking day.
Oh, no.
All right, guys.
You couldn't hear that, could you? My mom just walked past my door cursing. I wasn't sure if you could hear that. She was cursing at somebody on the phone. But yeah, that's gonna do it. We have been here for way too long. I did not anticipate this being this long. I figured, we're gonna sit down for like an hour, talk about some stuff we like. No, we overdid it. we completely overdid it. But it's fine. It happens. If anyone sits through all of this, you should comment that. Yeah, comment below if you sat through all of this, and I don't know, I'll like shout you out in the next podcast episode. We will say your name in the next podcast episode if that happens. I know people like that for some reason. They like their name being said in YouTube videos. So we'll go with that. Before we go, hold on, I got to get my little reminder here. Over 60% of people are still not subscribed. We're up to like almost 70 subscribers now, which is great. We're making progress. Me posting a TikTok saying we're going to have a guest on one of the episodes coming up got us like 15 subs. So that was good. Even though that video got like 10,000 views, only like 15 people from it subscribed, which pisses me off. But in the next couple weeks, we're going to have 2 different guests. We're going to have a buddy of mine that I've been on his podcast before. His name's The Geek Slays. His name's Chandler. And we're going to talk about the NFL draft. And we're going to do a little mock draft. And then we're also going to have a very special former Chicago Bear, current football player. I'm not going to say what team he plays for. He will also be on the podcast, and we're going to sit and talk to him about stuff. And I think it's going to be less of a formal interview like it was with future Chicago Bear Clint Ratkovich. It'll probably be more of like an actual conversation, because I don't think he's much of the interview type. I think he's more of a casual conversation type of guy. But so that'll be fun. But with that, we're gonna stop now because we've been going for way too long. So again, make sure you subscribe and whatnot, and we will see you guys next week.